ready for the start. They're off in the Preakness.
Hey guys, welcome to Preakness live from Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore, Maryland. I am here with the one, the only, Bram.
Oh, I was hoping that was me.
You really thought I was
really
going
hoping.
to.
I was like,
Bram,
say it.
which you guys know Bram already, and then you may know this guy, Dan.
She doesn't know my last name. That's the first clue.
It's Bram and Dan, guys. Dan has a special hat on today, so he just really thinks he is it.
Yeah,
He really thinks he's
well,
Pimlico
you do
Race.
too.
First
That's
of all,
decent.
First of all, my hat is amazing. This is the one and only Cam Hats, the official milliner of the Kentucky Derby. A lot of y'all at ABR already know her work, but your hat is very nice.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's nice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's great.
It's a little more worn than yours. I've kind of like,
okay.
I try to do a couple of battles with each one of these.
That's okay.
And if it's a lucky hat, if I have a winning day,
Right.
I'll put it on again.
Right, but you are a season-worn racing commentator,
Well,
and I am a new
You are.
snazzy commentator. So
That's
it
on
fits.
Dan's resume. Seasoned, worn racing
Seasons.
commentator.
Season's a nice way to
Yeah.
say you've been doing this for a very long time.
Yeah.
Guys, it is really, really nice day today.
And this is your first Preakness.
This is my first Preakness. This is actually my first Triple Crown race ever. So so far so good.
Mhm.
We are a little upset because we are missing 2 chains just for y'all at home.
We are.
And by we I mean me. But yeah,
You know, I mean, like, I'm just happy to be here, honestly. I mean, like, this has been a really long year.
absolutely.
Dan and I'm from Maryland. Dan's been through the racing scene forever here.
Yeah.
This has been something that I've spent my life at, annually coming here. And I'm just so happy that we're back here again. And I know it's unusual, but just to see people here dressed up, taking part in the event again, exactly what it used to be. But really, I'm so glad that we're back and doing this.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, it's just great to be here. And, you know, I think that when you, obviously the crowd is smaller, it's 10,000 people. It's not the usual crowd we're used to, but still very good energy. Right now we're in the Turfside Terrace. And, you know, I think as we look at kind of the future of Pimlico, there's a lot to be excited about there as well. But, you know, we've got a big race here too that we're gonna discuss in just a little bit.
Yeah, we do. And we have an elephant in the room as well, which we want to discuss this
I hope
week.
that's not me.
No, not at all. Dr. Dion Benson, who's the chief of veterinary medicine with the Stronach Group First Racing, is here with us. And as you know, this has been a complicated week for this race, right? For no good reason, right? Let me start with the big question, which is, how did the organization come to the conclusion that it was okay for Medina Spirit and Bob Baffert to compete today?
Yeah, I mean, so the hard part we have here is we really are dealing with a situation where we have essentially a public trial going on and the charges haven't even been filed. So there is no complaint from the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission. So, and we can't make any decisions based on what's happening or not happening in Kentucky if it's not even official. So our main concern wasn't to try and litigate their case or decide what happened when. Our main concern was to make sure whatever happened here was without medication on board, without violations, without issue.
I want to get to the protocols in a moment, but can you clarify that? Because it played in the media as if, while they are waiting for a secondary test to come back, that it was guilty really before proven innocent. So can you clarify what you meant by it hasn't been adjudicated yet?
Exactly. I mean, he hasn't even been charged yet. So the first part of any case against a trainer on a medication or any violation is to have a complaint served. That hasn't been served. The trainer came out and talked about the issue before the split had gone out, before the split had even, been circulated around to different laboratories. So at this point right now, there is no violation for Medina Spirit in the Kentucky Derby. That is a public complaint.
The drug in question that's been out there is betamethasone. Can you tell people what that is?
Yeah, betamethasone is a corticosteroid. It's very important for people to hear the cortico part because some people want to confuse it with anabolic steroids, which it's not. Certainly corticosteroids are legal therapeutic medications and have a place for normal care of racehorses. So clearly, we've got to make that distinction first. It's generally used as an anti-inflammatory, so it can deal with anything like joint effusion or when a horse's fetlocks or anything have little effusion, or which we call swelling, things like that. And it can also be used for skin conditions, general anti-allergy medication.
Of what Bob Baffert has claimed the use of this drug was in
Correct.
this case.
Correct.
Right? Yep. Okay. Take me through a second test, right? Why after a week after the race, if the test would come in, how would it be considered valid?
Yeah, so it's not a second sample of blood. Every time a blood sample is taken, they take a split, what's called a split, and that is held in reserve by the commission to allow the horseman to have a second laboratory evaluate that first sample. It's collected at the same time, and so it truly is an opportunity for the horseman to check the laboratory's work at a laboratory of their choosing.
Yeah. And what you will hear from some is that it can also be used as a masking agent. Can you talk a little bit about that in terms of this particular drug?
Yeah, so in this case, I've never heard of betamethasone being used as a masking agent. Quite frankly, the testing that we have is very specific for this medication. So it's very unusual that it would be mistaken for another medication or hide another medication underneath. So, having reviewed, I guess I'm in one of the unusual positions of having reviewed all of the records in the case. It is clear to me that the medication that he's talking about, the Otomax, was dispensed to the horse on 2 occasions. And, to me, it is potential and possible that this scenario that Mr. Baffert is talking about is legitimate.
Okay, so let's talk about this week. Obviously,
Yeah.
There's been a lot of news about rigorous testing that's been going on. Can you take us through what the protocols have been here?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Maryland Racing Commission does a lot of the testing in this case. We help them to get arranged for sampling of horses before they even arrive at Pimlico. So in this case, these horses last week, all of Mr. Baffert's horses received blood testing on Thursday, the 6th of May. Those samples were sent to the laboratory that the Maryland Racing Commission uses. After this all came out, the Maryland Racing Commission, when the horse arrived, took a second sample. Now, they usually would take a sample at some time in the week when the horse arrives on site, but because of the issues surrounding this horse and this trainer, all of Mr. Baffert's horses that he brought were sampled again by the Maryland Racing Commission on Monday. Because there was some concern that we may not have access to those tests because we didn't have an agreement yet with the Racing Commission and the trainer and his representatives, the owners, we scheduled a third set of samples, which we sent to a different laboratory that's also, at the same level as the laboratory, and I mean like the same level of capability as far as they're accredited by the same organizations and everything. And so we took a third set of samples on Tuesday. The Monday and Tuesday samples were sent out this week. We received results from last week's sample on Thursday and from the 2 samples from this week yesterday.
So I know that first Stronach has been ahead in integrity, safety, trying to ensure all of those paramount issues that are in and around the races. Another issue that's come up this week is uniformity of standards around the country.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what your feelings are about the future of uniformity of standards in this regard, which is health and safety?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there will always be some differences. I think at least for first in our group of tracks, we won't ever go backward to be consistent. We feel like what we do is the best. So to the extent that the rest of the world comes up to meet us, we'll certainly be happy with that, and we will encourage that and push for that. And I'm hoping with the HISA and the new legislation, a lot of that will come along. But our commitment to safety goes well beyond medication levels and testing. I mean, we have veterinarians at all of our racetracks and training centers during training, which is something that I don't know of another company or another set of tracks that do every day at every one of their facilities. And so, even if HISA doesn't require that, we feel that it's an important part of ensuring horse welfare. So I'm hopeful that we will all get closer together, but I don't know that we will all be the same.
Okay, we're done with the heavy stuff. Let's
Okay.
have fun today. Okay, let's have a lot of fun today.
Thank you.
Dr. Benson, thank you so much for clarifying all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
for us
absolutely.
today. I
No
appreciate it.
problem. Thank you.
All right. So, look, I think this is an important conversation to have, and thank you for it. You can truly go back to all the other things you're doing now. We appreciate your excuse. Thank you so much. We'll bring Danielle back in here. Obviously, an important conversation to have. Bram, appreciate you asking those questions.
I mean, I do want to say one thing about it, because there really was a takeaway for me.
Yep.
She is personally comfortable with Medina Spirit running here.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. And, listen, I'm not blaming any reporting of it. I was very disappointed in the news that came out earlier this week. I really was.
Yep.
And her clarification of, I felt that there was a complaint already against Bob Baffert. Apparently there isn't an official one. So that may change down the road. And considering what she just said about the medication itself, I feel more comfortable personally that they are doing the right thing today. And I hope that they're doing the right thing today.
Yep. No, that was a valid point. And I'm glad that you came back and highlighted that specifically. I will say there is 0 minutes to post, not till the Preakness, but to the 11th race on the card here.
Wow, there's 2 hours.
And we're going to show
flew
them
by
live,
fast.
by the way. And everyone on the chat always asks, are we showing these things live?
Showing it live.
Yeah.
We're
Everyone, we
showing
heard
the 11th race
you.
and the 12th race live. And then
Yeah.
we got a little surprise for the Preakness itself.
Little surprise. So this 11th race is the Maryland Sprint Stakes. It's a grade 3. They're going 6 furlongs. And it's important that we talk about this race because I've been saying all day,
Let me see who I have.
this is my best bet of the day. This one, you could just kind of you could take off this race. I'm telling you, guys, both of you, take off this race.
Take off.
Bet the 7-horse, Breezy Gust.
I'm all over this with you, Dan. I
Which
agree with
one?
you. Like,
Where are we?
100% agree with you on this.
Race what? 11?
Race 11, Breezy Gust. That'll be the 7-horse. They've got a little jockey cam here. You can see on the shot here. That's part of it. It's a little bit of a tease also.
Breezy Gust.
Bram's tease.
I have Breezy Gust
Are
in
we
my.
not allowed to say that, Dan? What's happening?
Go ahead, say it. It was in the promo.
When we show the Preakness today, you are going to be able to see through the viewpoint of 3 different jockeys the race as it unfolds live.
Which is awesome.
Which is amazing.
At that point, Dan will be 8 seltzers in.
Yeah.
Right?
This is
And then
great.
I can't wait to hear him yell at them.
Someone
and
stole
they
my water.
They can hear him.
Where's
Oh,
my
is
water?
your water gone?
I thought my water was
Didn't you
here.
just go get
Did
water?
that doctor steal my water?
Jeez.
Listen, lady.
It's right there. We'll get your water.
I'm just kidding. Actually here, so I want to be a little different from y'all. Thank you. And I'm gonna take the 5 Strike Power.
Oh, it's a good one.
My exacta was gonna be 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
Look at me go with the 3s. What are the odds for Strike Power? I don't even
Right now
know.
he's 2 to 1. He's the favorite here, but I think it's a very good bet.
It's a good, solid.
Of the other ones, I love Dan's pick here, Breezy Gust. I love that one. It's
Yeah.
a great number, 7 to 1 right now. No minutes on the board. I also like the 8 Special Reserve a little bit here.
Mhm.
Since going to the Maker
see.
Barn, 2 firsts, 1 second. Irad's on the horse. That one I like a lot as
We
well.
love
You won't get a
Irad.
great number on that, 3 to 1. But I'm
Yeah.
with Dan here. I'm gonna try to get some money, bank something here as we get set for the
Breezy
Preakness.
Gust. That's how I like my tracks with this dress. Breezy Gust. You know what I mean?
I've got a little bit more of a horse analysis
Yes.
reason for it.
Okay, great.
Let me just give you a little bit of it.
Okay.
Because this is going to become a theme here, I promise. Speed has been good at this track. Horses
Right.
that have been going to the front on the dirt track have been staying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was looking for. Now, to be fair, there have been a couple of races, the 2 most recent dirt races, where there have been horses that have been closing from the back of the pack. Breezy Gust, though, has got speed, but I think he's been a totally different horse since switching over to the Danny Velasquez barn a few races ago. And if you look at this, the way this race sets up, he truly is going to be in the best spot tactically. I don't know if he's going to go wire to wire, but I think he's going to be right there. And you've got your horse that you like, Strike Power.
Strike Power.
I think may take pressure, and ultimately, I think it sets up for Breezy Gust pretty well. So
And Joel Rosario.
and Joel Rosario,
Great guy.
we all know. Oh, Rosario has only ridden once for this barn in the past 5 years on the dirt, It was Brooklyn Strong when he won last year.
I mean, I'm looking at the 7 here. Mainly he runs at Parks, which I think is which is the reason why he's not getting a tremendous amount of support. That is not typically the high tier track when you come in a day like this. But I'm with you on him. I really, really like him today. And I think you're getting an incredible number, and you got about 30 seconds to figure that out if you believe Dan and I on this.
Right.
We should also say you could bet with First Bet. That's our preferred betting partner here on Preakness Live.
I actually signed up for First Bet today.
And it was seamless.
It's seamless, very easy, user friendly, and it's good for people that don't know what they're doing, like me. Just kidding.
And you haven't been kicked off it yet.
No, I haven't been kicked off yet. There's another provider I've been kicked off of, but that's a story for another time. They're just loading in the gate here, and I will say, we are here we go. We are very close to the action right here. Dan, when he said VIP, he meant VIP.
Well, I try to deliver. Now, the cool thing is, as the horses turn for home, as they come into the stretch, you're going to see them go behind us. You're going to actually see them head toward the finish line behind us. So we get a pretty cool vantage point here.
We got a horrific start on our horse, Breezy.
Yeah, I don't see the horse at all, which is kind of
that's okay. You don't want to
step out of the gate.
Yeah, that's
who do we have? Great. The number 8, which Bram did like. Five's a little strong out the gate. I don't know if I love it.
Your 6 is making a little bit of a move.
So Special Reserve running a great race so far.
So Special Reserve putting pressure on Strike Power. I don't see my horse.
I'm not mad at Strike Power on that interior position.
Like
no, 8's coming back. Clear. Here we go.
If you could bring a 7 here at any point, I'll take any 7.
Wow.
Any 7.
Look at that 8.
Bring a 7. Show me a 7. No 7.
Clear cut winner. 5.
So this is the story of my day, Dan.
Yeah.
Whoever my second choice is ultimately the correct choice.
Okay.
But that's a curse, because if I then say this was my second choice and make it my first choice, it will not win. So what did I say? Special Reserve, Irad Ortiz, change of barn. I like this horse a lot, and then I stuck with you because you convinced me that the 7 was the play of the day.
This was my bet of the day.
Don't be so easily influenced, Bram.
Yeah, that was
go with your
gut. You don't know me well enough to realize I am very easily influenced.
But again, you can see there where it was the 5 and 8 on the lead early.
Yeah.
And who finished the race top 2? 5 and 8.
5 and 8.
No one is closing on the track, which is something we got to talk about as we look toward the Preakness.
That's right.
Tell me about Michael Maker. I actually don't know a lot about that trainer. It's not a name I've heard so far.
Yeah, he's a really good Kentucky-based trainer. He's had a lot of good turf horses, but he's had a couple of nice dirt horses as well. And he's consistent. He's in that sort of, he's not. People don't include him in the list of the Chad Browns and the Todd Pletchers and the Bob Baffords, but he's in that next tier of trainers. So he's definitely one of the better trainers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Listen, can you guys hear the music in the background? Because 2 Chainz just came on. And I love these 2 men a lot, Bram and Dan, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be over there.
You cannot leave.
I'm going to go find a guest to sit in. I'm just kidding.
Well, we do have a guest coming. And,
we do.
And it's going to be a guest who's going to be talking about something that I know you're very interested in.
Oh, this is the guest I have to stay for. I can't go see 2 Chainz.
I'm going to step out. We're going to let our guest step in.
Oh, great. I just did a seamless transition talking about how I don't want to sit here right now because I'd rather be talking to 2 Chainz. But
David, how are you?
Hey, everybody. Last time we saw each other was Preakness, I think.
David Wilson.
Or, sorry, Pegasus.
That's
yeah.
right.
Oh,
Chief Marketing Officer. First.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Bram, how are you?
David, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, move whatever you need to move. Get comfy.
Yeah, where's the camera? Right here?
No, right here.
Right there.
How did we steal you away from 2 Chainz? How did we do that?
I literally was just with 2 Chainz at the cupola right now.
Were you? Wait, so he must have just come on at 4:45. We thought it was going to be 4:00, and we were waiting over there for a good while. And
well, he's taking the stage right now as we speak. Yeah, so
it's all right. I can talk about crypto all day. I actually just posted an Instagram picture of me looking into the horizon, and I said buying the dip between the races because I just checked the portfolio and everything's down.
I think people are becoming obsessed, myself included.
No, I'm obsessed.
I'm constantly checking, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Right.
People are into Dogecoin.
That's great.
Yeah, all of that.
Can I really off the record real fast before we talk about NFTs ask you what kind of altcoins or meeting coins you're in at all? Like, do you go with
Me
smaller
personally,
coins? Yeah.
I don't. I go with the blue chip.
Okay,
So
good.
I was fortunate enough to get in on Bitcoin last summer.
Okay.
It grew, as we all know.
Amazing.
And now I'm all in on Ethereum.
Ethereum.
And
Great.
Solana, actually.
Solana.
Yeah, SOL.
If you got into Bitcoin last summer,
Interesting.
why are you working?
I know, right? Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
okay. That's good
exactly.
gains, but you
Yeah.
got to keep it in. You know, Ethereum. Actually, Ethereum's amazing. The last
Yeah.
year, it's been like, or the last month, it's been almost like 30% gains, but
Yeah.
low threes. Now it's like at 43. I
It's
think
done
all-time high.
well.
Yeah, good. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So we don't have to go into a deep meme coin
Yeah.
dive because I am deep in the memes, but I have long-term bags as well. So amazing. NFTs.
Yeah. Actually, they got really cool ones coming today. Like literal turnaround NFTs the second the Preakness is over. Do
Yeah.
you want to tell people what's going on
Yes,
today?
I would love to know.
Yeah, so, at first, we always want to stay at the forefront of innovation. So whether that's through entertainment, whether that's through the first bet wagering app with, AI assisted handicapping.
Right.
We just talked a lot about Bitcoin. I've personally been in it. And as CMO, I need to look for ways to innovate and for us to offer value to our customers,
Great.
and find new ways to offer value to our existing customers, but also to kind of onboard new customers.
Right.
And so, I looked at sort of, Preakness is sort of our crown jewel. It's the second jewel of the Triple Crown, as everybody knows. And we've got 146 years of just great content and really sort of historic and epic moments. And so when you look at those moments and you've got an emotional connection to kind of what's happening, whether that's the 1973 Secretariat win or people love, we just know from our socials, American Pharoah from 2015, we just got really great moments that we decided to package up and partner with Zed Run, who's already built sort of a great digital platform within our sport.
Right.
So we've kind of merged sort of, the epicness of Preakness in the digital realm, and we've tied experiences to them. So, Bram, you asked about the, getting back to your original question, you asked about for the first time ever, we are going to mint in real time the winner of Preakness 146. It's going to be up on our auction within an hour after the race. So
Wow, that's impressive.
yeah, you can go right now. You can bid on it right now, but
Okay.
no one really knows what that's going to turn into. There's almost like a placeholder right now on OpenSea. On OpenSea.
Yeah. And so my opinion, so I've talked about this a little bit with my co-host for my show that I run on, because when I see horse racing now with the people that are there, the older crowd that has money and that's been racing forever, and then the younger crowd that definitely knows what NFTs are, and also tons of younger people that don't know, this would be a way to maybe attract a newer crowd. Because in my head, I was like, I don't know if a certain group would want to buy it.
Honestly, it's a question that I don't know the answer to,
Yeah.
and I've wrestled with. We always want to take a little bit of risk,
For sure.
and to step into kind of new frontiers. My hope is that it reaches our total audience. So I
Yeah.
hope, we've got big bettors that,
Right.
are very active bettors in the horse racing community, and they could be 65 plus.
Right.
My hope is that they would take this opportunity to own a piece of history with the NFTs.
Yeah.
But I think what we're going to see as well is that there's going to be sort of a younger audience as well that understands, hey, this Preakness IP is special.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like we're, what you see on the NFT marketplace right now, where there's a lot of, say, doodles or sort of cartoony type things. This is really historic content, and we're doing one of one.
Right.
So
Oh, great.
you're the sole owner of that moment.
Yeah. And then so I'm newer to horse racing, and I find it so interesting that there's no governing body, like there's no MBA, or there's no what is it, Shock Top that's doing MBA
Yep.
NFTs. So would a race course be the one who uploads the NFT, or would it have to be the trainer, or can it be anyone, or how does that work?
I mean, so at first we own and operate the Preakness. We have our content that we capture. But we are making a donation. Part of the auction will have a donation to the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund.
Amazing.
To make sure we take care of our athletes, that are retired from the sport. And on the same way, Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, the TAA. So we're going to give back to the equine athletes that have, help participate and make our content great. And that's sort of our way of giving thanks to them. And
that's great. And it makes it more official being able to give back to something.
We want to give back.
Right.
And it's a great way to do it. So
that's great. Who did I say that to? I said that to you, right?
It's really cool.
I said
you know
about
what? Listen,
charity.
David, stay here for a second because Roman Tyrone, who's the founder of Zed Run, is going to join us on the stream. And you're probably not going to be able to hear him, so I'll relay what he says. But Roman, thanks for coming on. And I know you partnered here with David and Stronach and the Preakness to make these NFTs. Can you kind of take us through how you work together to get this together for them?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having us. We're so excited and thrilled about this partnership. It's really kind of bridging real horse racing in the physical world with the metaverse of Zed Run. And through a partnership like this, we see iconic moments of the Preakness combined with some amazing and one-of-a-kind art pieces that we have that are a key piece of our ecosystem. So to be able to kind of extend the brand and reach out and partner with something as iconic as the Preakness, it's an honor and so exciting for our company.
Roman, tell people about Zed Run a little bit as well. I've been comfortable with it. It's really cool that people have an opportunity to come into a digital place where they're able to own, breed horses, race them. Can you kind of tell people a little bit about Zed Run?
Yeah, absolutely. So my role at Zed Run is the head of partnerships. So Zed Run is one of the first of its kind. It's a breathing NFT platform for horse racing. And what that means is each horse is unique in its own DNA, and it can pass that DNA on genetically. So at the surface, it's like any other horse racing game you've ever seen, except you truly own a stake in the game. It's truly unlike anything out there on the market, and it's the most exciting NFT platform to date. And there are so many different ways to get involved, from racing, breeding, collecting, and trading. And I think that once you scratch the surface of Zed, and I know, Bram, you've just gotten started, you race a little bit, and then you learn a little bit more about how you can track if your horse is, effective in different types of distances of racing, and really discover what your horse is good at. And that really kind of entrenches you into the game at a different level. So it's certainly an exciting platform, and we're so blessed to watch it grow the way it has.
David, so Roman's talking a little bit about the platform Zed Run itself. You guys are working in the NFT space. Do you see a future in that digital space like that he's talking about, where they're building, breeding, racing digital horses? Do you see that with a group like First, where there could be an integration that way?
Look, I think what they've built is impressive. It's obviously on our radar. We couldn't be more happy to have partnered with them on this NFT release. I definitely think there's a future. I think they've proven it through their growing audience. We're all ears in all conversations, so we're in initial talks. This is a little bit of a litmus test for us, but I absolutely think there's something that we can do, sort of moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Roman, listen, before I let you go, look, man, it's like impossible to get a horse in the drop. So like here we are telling everybody to go to Zed Run. So how do people get a horse at Zed Run? Did we lose Roman? Roman, can you hear us?
I cannot.
All right, we lost you. All right, thanks for coming on, Roman.
I can answer that question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if anyone wants to get one of those Zed Run horses, they can go to our auction. It's Preakness Stakes NFT.com.
Yeah.
So if you go to Preakness Stakes NFT, you'll see the whole collection there. They've got some great horses that I couldn't hear, but I assume you may have talked about. But this is the first time that Zed Run has released a skin with any racehorse entity. So the Preakness was really the first to do it on their platform. I think from our perspective, and certainly for the Zed Run audience, there's a lot of discussion about getting access to these Preakness horses on their platform. You could do that.
Take me through the day here a little bit. This is really unusual. We've had a very crazy year. Obviously, this event took place in the fall. It normally wouldn't. Here we are here. Can you take me through the thought process of putting on the Preakness this year as we are still kind of navigating COVID-19?
Yeah, so there's always challenges, not just on the racing side, but certainly on the experience side as well. And so historically, we've had the Infield Fest. This year, we have socially distant pods.
I love them.
Yeah.
I said it's like for everyone at home that hasn't seen that, there's little pods with 6, 7, 8 people. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
And so they're little like VIP fenced off situations that I feel like
It's a lot of fun.
It looks great. It almost looks like everyone gets table service in their area instead of buying a bottle at a club.
It's
which I
not
like.
that different from the way people want to experience events. If you
Right.
think about it, people go with their sort of small party and create a party within the party. And so
It's really good.
we had to respect social distancing laws at the time. We had no idea. When you produce an event of this big, it's a several month sort of venture. We had no idea that the day before the CDC would lift sort of mask guidelines and whatnot. But look, I think you got to pivot a little bit and create sort of new experiences. And for us, horse racing, you talk a little bit about the digital. We may enter and foray into that a little bit, but for us, it's the experience of being here and those human connections and just seeing the live horses. And I mean, look at where you guys are perched up here. They're thundering past. It's just that's what horse racing's all about.
Yeah, it's been great. We've both had great experiences. We've walked around and everyone's been lovely at the track. So really, really good job.
Cool.
You want to talk about the future just for a moment? Look, Preakness is going to stay here for some time, but there's going to be a lot of changes that are coming to Pimlico, the facility itself.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about what you see over the next few years for the Preakness?
Yeah, I mean, look, the building needs work. There's no secret. I think we're all aware that this building, structurally, needs a bit of love. But fortunately, we've been able to work out with the Maryland Stadium Authority and some other partners. Basically an agreement where the Maryland Stadium is going to have the opportunity to essentially add some development into Pimlico and really sort of make it much more than just such a historic track. So that's a conversation that's obviously in the works. We're not driving the process, so I defer to the Maryland Stadium Authority to really kind of speak on behalf of sort of all of that development. But what I can tell you is that we're happy that the Preakness is going to remain in Baltimore and it's going to remain at Pimlico Racetrack. For us, that's what the Preakness is, and I think we're excited that it's just going to remain and only get better.
Who you got? Who you betting on?
Yes.
I live in Miami, so I see IRAD, race all the time.
Same.
So I'm a Midnight Bourbon guy.
Yeah.
But I think Medina Spirit could come out of the gate and just hold it the whole way through.
Right.
So we'll see. What are you guys saying?
Midnight Bourbon right now.
Yeah.
I
we
like
actually
speed up
both-
front.
Yeah, we actually both said Midnight Bourbon. Concert tour for me has been off a little too long, so it's a little bit of a toss-up. But if anyone's going to do it, IRAD's going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
IRAD just won the last one, so he's ready.
Yeah.
He's ready to roll.
He's right. I just, a lot of people put their money on Bob. I put my money on IRAD. Gulfstream Park's my home track, and I see he's an incredible force within the sport. I mean,
it's been good.
Yeah.
And his brother too. I love Jose.
They're both
amazing. Yeah.
David, thanks so much for coming over. We really
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
having me on. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
David Wilson, the Chief Marketing Officer at First.
Thank you so much. Amazing. Love the future.
Yeah.
Preakness.
So
one of many for me, hopefully.
Are you in all the NFTs? Have you gotten into this stuff yet?
No, I at the beginning loved CryptoKitties and was looking at it a couple months ago, February, March. I will say the one thing that I did mention to Dan earlier today was I think the only way to be successful in this market with NFTs is to give a portion back to charity because it makes it stand out. It gives it utility, how we were talking about with crypto needing a purpose and a utility. So why buy Joe Schmo's secretariat or his secretariat? Well, because they're giving to the jockey club. So you're like, oh, that's the official one. Sure. I want the NBA one versus somebody from wherever.
Here's one personally for you.
Yeah.
You have moments on a giant stage in a ring.
Yes.
Why is there no Summer Rae NFT line
I mean,
yet?
Obviously I've been approached about it. I don't know. I find a lot of and I'm such a positive person, but I find a lot of negatives with the NFT. I was telling you, I was telling you, I just think until there's a way that you can buy Ethereum quicker than 4 to 5 business days for your money to transfer over, or use fiat, use, your debit card or credit card or whatever it is to instantly buy it. I think there's so many people. The reason why Amazon's successful is because you're late at night, tired, and you just go, sure, and you press it, or you've had a couple drinks and you're like, $200 later.
That's how I am with eBay.
eBay or so whatever
really
it is.
bad.
It's that user friendly, and there's so many times when I've been with my friends where they're like, $2,000 for a kitty. Yeah. And they're going to do it and they go, my funds aren't there. Like, I have to change my Bitcoin to Ethereum or whatever it is. So I just find these little holes, and maybe I should do it. Maybe I'm being a little modest too. But that's also another thing. Like,
as your manager for the moment, you're being too modest.
Okay, I need to do it.
Yeah, you need to do it. As well as Dan the Tooth Tordjman needs to also have.
We, by the way,
NFTs.
Do you know about the tooth?
No.
You want to tell the tooth story?
Well,
what is that?
no, you tell the tooth
You
story.
tell the tooth story.
No, it's your tooth.
You
I think
tell
you
the
should
tooth
tell the
story.
tooth
Was there a
story.
tooth fairy? What
I
happened?
won't tell it correctly. You need to tell the tooth story.
I don't even remember the genesis of this whole thing.
You said you had a tooth that, I don't know,
So we were talking
gave
about
you weird feelings in your mouth when you knew a horse was
that
going
was
to
not
win.
true.
Yeah.
So basically, so I've got this issue, right? Like I had 2 veneers put in when I was younger.
Okay.
These 2 teeth, which are obviously lighter colored than the rest of my teeth now because I'm getting older. So I got to do a whitening. I got to do all that.
Okay.
The thing is, when I explained to him that I had veneers, I had to tell him why I got veneers. I'm not getting veneers because I wanted to have perfect teeth. I had a baby tooth that never grew out.
Okay.
I know, this is very cool stuff. This is mostly what you approach women with when you're in college and in that age.
Hey, want to see my baby tooth?
Yeah, let me
Wow.
show you my baby tooth. Exactly. So
Actually, that is true because I've had hockey players come up to me and push their nose in,
yeah,
all the way in, and they're like, "Have you ever seen this?" And I'm like, "Gross, no, that's not a pickup line." But okay,
I mean, there are some sexy, significant deformities, and in my case, it's in my upper right tooth here.
right?
So anyhow, I tell him this story in confidence, thinking he'll be supportive.
Yes.
And he starts mocking me.
Puts it on the live stream.
Yeah, and on the podcast, the Winner's Circle, by the way, which you could listen to every Monday. And then people start commenting, what does the tooth say? Who does the tooth like in the 6th race? Because he started egging them on.
Yeah.
He's like, does the tooth tingle whenever you have a feeling
Oh
about
my
a horse?
gosh, does it though?
No,
These are
it
good
doesn't
questions.
tingle. It does not tingle. And now it's buried under a weird
Right.
veneer.
So the tooth needs an NFT.
Oh, they didn't take it out.
They didn't. I think they built upon it. I think they put the veneer
See,
onto
I
the.
would think the tooth would make more money on the NFT. Also, that's another thing too. If you're going into NFT thinking you're going to get 60 mil,
Right.
all of these crazy, those are the exceptions to the rule.
Oh, of course.
And I think so many people, I've had so many people call me because they know I'm
I'm
big
trying to
into
tell
the
you,
crypto
you're an
world.
exception to the rule.
Well, thank you. But I've had so many other people be like,
Yeah.
we got to do NFTs. We got to make
Yeah.
millions. And I'm like, I mean, you're lucky if you make 3. But yeah, so maybe I think also too, if I gave that, I would like to give a physical trading card of myself or something else that you can sell. There's ways to
Oh,
send
you want
a
to
sketch.
incentivize it. You feel like you want to
There
hand
should be
something to somebody.
else as
Right.
well. Maybe to give it a little more utility, but we'll see.
So I don't
like
know
your
much
hat.
about NFTs. I learned a lot just listening to you speak with
Yeah.
David.
I think I've met David at Gulfstream. Once he said that,
yeah.
I think I met him.
He's based down there. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Great guy. And they really are. I mean, look, the Stronach Group / First Racing used to be the Stronach Group, now First Racing. They really are the leaders when it comes to this. It does not just because we're at Pimlico.
Right.
When it comes to innovation, when it comes to live music, entertainment, this is what they do.
The scene. Yes,
that
they
was
really do the scene.
That
Yes.
was kind of what I asked him without asking him was if there's no National Horse Racing Association,
Right.
How do you do? Because to me, it's I asked you with the Secretariat clip,
Yeah.
I was like, is that trainer and that family still alive?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because if they are, that's beef. Someone's
Right.
going to be like, well, if it goes for 5,000, who cares? These people are
Right.
rich. But if it's if it goes for $1 million, where's my money? People
Yeah.
are going to come.
Yeah.
So even with WWE, there's things where it's we'll see there's no rules yet.
There's no precedence, right? It hasn't gone through a court yet.
Well, like Rob Gronkowski made $1.7 million dropping his one drop, right? He's not allowed to use anything where he's actually in an NFL uniform,
right?
Because that would be NFL property. But he could recreate it without using the logos.
For sure, as
and you could recreate.
For sure,
you know?
yeah.
Just saying.
It's just such an interesting.
I really want by the end of the day the Summer Rae line, and I want my cut. All right, that's what I'm talking about.
And I will say, like, even though I don't know as much about it as the both of you, I was listening to a podcast, The Daily. They were talking about how the writer of an article explaining NFTs in the New York Times made the article an NFT, and the NFT went for about $800,000. Just the article, which is wild.
Who got that money?
Who has that money?
Yeah.
So he didn't identify.
So even the article, like the company doesn't have to. Someone could just be smart
who got
and put it out there, like New York Times.
I think it's the New York Times, and then they agreed to give. They agreed to give it back to the charity that supports journalists. You know, like basically.
Yeah.
The,
I mean, this is really that's actually ingenious.
There's
Dan,
no law.
You could give a pick. And whether the horse wins or not, you could make an NFT of the pick, and you win anyway.
Yeah, I could make.
I like that,
but I could make an NFT of the people today and just go toe to toe with Astrana.
The NFTs of the infield of old, I think, would be something.
But it is true, and like you're seeing that now. The new tax laws that are going to be by the end of the year, and the government coming in. There's going to be a lot of things that change. I think the one thing that's exciting is crypto and NFTs. It's like when the internet first happened, and it was like we were like, "Do you have an AOL account?"
Yeah.
Like, remember the dial-up, and it was like, that is what's happening.
Have you heard of MySpace?
And MySpace, and like you put an away message.
How are you stealing music? Right.
And it was Napster.
Yeah.
But very much like for anyone at home that thinks like crypto's confusing, sure it is, but.
Reach out to you.
I don't know how it works, but I don't know how electricity works. That doesn't stop me from turning on the lights every day.
Right. And remember when the internet first happened and we were like, well, can they hear us? Like, well, will they leak? I got to put my credit card information to buy something. You're right.
Yeah.
Now we store our credit card information on the internet. So it's just this very exciting, pivotal time that whether you start learning now or 5 years from now, it's like having a rotary phone and getting the big Zach Morris Nokia cell phone. It's all happening. So having laws and rules and Biden's coming out with the tax laws, it's all going to be way different this time next year. So like, it's very smart of them to jump in because they can make a pretty profit. We'll see what the back taxes do, but I'm sure they have a great accountant.
I think they'll be all right there.
It's also interesting from the perspective that now, obviously, we're fortunate enough that we could be here at the Preakness. Obviously, we're not wearing masks. We're vaccinated. Everyone here is either vaccinated or has come with a negative COVID test. PCR.
If you say so. Go on.
Within the last 48 hours.
Those are the rules to get in. And so, But that being said, there is now the national guidance that if you're out in public, you don't have to wear a mask. We are moving into a better place. Yeah. And I think I was talking to Bram about this earlier.
Well, I do think the CDC is like freestyling right now. They're just like woke up and they're like, woo! But I mean, technically, yes.
Anyhow, speaking of freestyling, I don't know if you ever heard a man freestyle quite like our next guest. A gentleman we're going to bring in. Oh, there he is. You saw that pivot? You saw that turn?
Oh.
The guy's got style. He's got analysis. He's got a little bit of everything. So this is what we're going to do. One more time.
Leave.
We're going to ask you to step out.
I'm concerned about how these basic girls got to go in the middle of the...
So am I, actually.
Take an Instagram picture.
That is definitely illegal. We could. Well, I was going to say
they jumped like 2 fences to take an Instagram picture.
But don't go too far.
I won't.
You come back in a few minutes. We got a lot more to talk about.
Okay, great.
All right, we're going to bring in Tom Law.
Don't drink my drink.
Dan, what's your opinion on basic girls?
Take the water. Get hydrated.
That was mean. I was just kidding. I'm not kidding. I do.
Dan, your thoughts on basic girls? What do you think?
There you go. You want the ice?
No? I tried it twice. You won't answer the question.
Did you get me
Maybe Tom Law will.
They were out of White Claws?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Well, boy, do I have news for you.
Good to see you. How'd your pandemic go, Tom?
Whenever you show up, I bring you a hard seltzer.
How was your pandemic?
I don't think I've seen you since the start of the pandemic.
I haven't seen anybody since it started. It's the first time I've been out of my basement in a year.
Gulfstream Park, Pegasus,
Yeah.
World Cup is I only do appearances on this show.
She's yelling
with you
basic
guys.
girls. I'm yelling about pandemics. None of us have social norms anymore.
I mean, I got to, I mean, the viewership, I worry about the viewership. I mean, you go from her down to me next. I mean,
we're holding. I can see
agree with
the
your opinion on
numbers.
that.
We are holding.
Yeah.
We are holding. We had a little dip, but we're holding.
I
We're
sent a
holding.
note to a few friends to tell them to log on that
People
I was
want
coming
winners.
on, so.
They want to make money, and they know that with you on. First of all, we have a good history. Last time you were on, I called Zulu Alpha, so
You
a little
called
humble
it.
brag.
We watched the race. Yeah,
we watched the race together. I lost my mind.
It's fun.
It was great. So you always bring me good luck. So you got to stay here, rub your shoulders.
And this is a turf race coming up.
This is a turf race coming up. We're gonna make money in this race.
This is our wheelhouse.
We, look, you could talk about this race, or you could just jump right into the Preakness. Want your analysis? Look, what is going to happen with the pace? We've talked about all day long here, and really all meet long at Pimlico. Speed is holding up.
Been holding up really
But you
strong
got three
today.
horses with speed. Who goes to the front, and do they hold?
I mean, I think, Johnny, being Johnny, he's sort of savvy tactician. He's probably looked at the race 100 times, trying to figure out exactly what he's going to do. It's clear that Medina Spirit kind of runs his best races when he actually makes the lead.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure that's got to be in the back of his mind that I need to be kind of in front.
Yeah.
So, the break obviously plays a lot into that. But, Concert Tour arguably is a better horse than him anyway.
Yeah.
And he has speed. So
let's do
and
this.
good speed from the outside with Mike.
Let's do a survey. Quick. Bram, after a half mile, who's on the lead?
After a half mile, I think Midnight Bourbon's on the lead.
Midnight Bourbon?
I think so.
It's a hot
what
take, I think,
But
a
I
little
mean,
bit.
and I think if he is, then I'm going to feel pretty good about my chances to win with him. That's
Well,
what
I like
think.
the move to switch to Irad Ortiz. I mean, nothing against Mike Smith, obviously, but Irad's going to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He's had some good success with Asmussen over the years. Kind of they team up together. Steve goes to Ricardo Santana's kind of his main guy, but yet they kind of do a little bit of a shift here. They go to Irad. Probably could have gone to Santana, although he's never ridden the horse. But Irad. I mean, he won the Belmont for him, so similar kind of move. Rider switch. Midnight Bourbon, he's the favorite. I mean, I can't believe it. He's taking all
I can't
this money.
believe he's the favorite.
I'm surprised.
Here's my issue with Midnight Bourbon. Here's my issue with him. He is best when he is. I mean, I think the only race he won, he was on the lead, right? I mean, like in terms of the Derby Prep Series, he's not going to be loose on the lead.
Loose on the lead, no, but I think on the leader.
What is the scenario in which he? So you think he's on? You said you think he's up front.
I don't think he has much of a choice but to be up front.
And you think what? Who's pressing? Who's second? Medina Spirit or Concert
Medina
Tour?
Spirit, Concert Tour, are both up.
And you think he's going to sustain that pressure and kick on?
I think that's his only choice, honestly.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's what I think. And I think if actually that plays out, I kind of actually like Pletcher's horse here to come up the rear and at least steal a piece of this thing in the end, if that's what it's going to be. A pretty decent pace, I think, sets up for some of these others to steal it at the end. If that's not what happens, then Medina Spirit or Concert Store probably runs away with it. That's the way I look at it.
Let's talk about Concert Tour for a minute. We're going to show you a replay in a moment. His breakthrough race was in the Rebel Stakes. He obviously disappointed in the Arkansas Derby. Before we get to the Arkansas Derby, let's take a look at how he finished up Concert Tour in the Rebel Stakes.
Concert Tour is the leader. He's a quarter mile from a victory, and he leads by a length from Caddo River in second. To the outside, Keep Me in Mind. Then Get Her Number, Final Furlong, and Concert Tour is now 4 lengths in front, and Concert Tour is running them off their feet in the Rebel. Concert Tour 5 lengths in front. Hosier might get second. 8 Rebels for Baffert Concert Tour.
So there we saw it. Look, it was visually impressive, but in that race, what happened was Caddo River, another speed horse in the race, decided to take back, and Concert Tour was loose on the lead. I think the consensus here is that, I think Medina Spirit's going to, I think Medina Spirit's going to be up front after a half mile. You think it's going to be Midnight Bourbon. I'd be shocked if it were Concert Tour loose on the lead after a half mile and just coasting.
Loose, no.
Yeah,
not loose.
He doesn't get that same trip. And then what happens in the Arkansas Derby? They try to rate with him. He hits the front and runs out of gas. Now, I mean, that's not a good sign. They're going longer today. Why should I take Concert? Now, I
don't like Concert Tour for that reason.
Yeah.
I have a question about him at this distance, really, especially if he's going to get out to the lead like that. I actually don't like that. I don't like him there, and therefore I'm not picking him to win. I like Midnight Bourbon. It's hard to go against Medina Spirit. However, quick turnaround here. There's a lot going on. Honestly, the last couple of weeks, a lot going on. Yeah. And
there is?
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
No.
I'll just put it, understatement of the year. There's a lot going on.
It should be a good time to steal back the mango seltzer.
Yeah.
Unless you want, are you going to drink it?
No. I was
going to drink it?
I was tempted, but no, that's your MO.
I was going to put it into Danielle's self.
That has lipstick on it. No, I downed the Blue Moon.
It's done already?
Oh, I crushed it.
Let me see. What about there? Anything else behind?
I mean, I've been over there covering races all day. I hadn't had a single beer.
Yeah, let's do
Got
that.
to crush once in a while.
Okay, come on.
No.
I came over here and I said, I really could go for a beer.
No one's judging you here.
No,
this is not the live.
Well, when I started out as a turf rider, I mean, you'd go upstairs and they had, and you know this, you guys have done this for years. They have a beer tap upstairs. They used to, right? I mean,
cheers.
The good tracks still do.
That's right.
Cheers. I mean, I'd sit there and watch the old school turf rider guys like dictating their stories, and they're like got beers in front of them, you know, in old paper cups, you'd get at a ball game. It's just great, right? I mean, this is the one Triple Crown race I've covered the least of, and I've been coming here since 2005.
I've got breaking news for you.
Yeah? Uh-oh.
Our numbers are actually
off the charts?
soaring.
Really?
Our numbers are going up.
Wow.
Our numbers are going up.
It all followed right after we talked about the tooth. I'm telling you.
Our numbers are going up.
It's the tooth.
I know this is. I'm sorry, Danielle. We were not supposed to hear that.
I hear good things about this tooth. Off the air, I have some associates that told me about the tooth.
Associates,
which I didn't know anything about.
Geez, I know exactly who that is.
Associates,
and they
heard
say that all the good intel comes from the tooth.
So we'll unmask your associate. His name's Greg Charkutian, who, by the way, he hates and he cringes whenever we mention his name. He never wants any credit.
He's the wonderful. Isn't he a wonderful guy though?
I feel like an ABR Films production involves like unseemly characters chasing you down, pulling this tooth out of your mouth because they think it's so valuable that it will change their lives.
The dental talk on this show is just classic. I mean, like I have a dentist appointment on Tuesday, and I'm kind of like wondering if I should ask my. Look at Alex.
Oh, you are so good. Fresh delivery.
That benefits Dan too because he gets the.
I get the whole damn thing. I get it all. So
Bram, I picked Medina Spirit.
Tom, I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off only because
cut me off on one.
I had a thought. I
only had one.
No, I'm not cutting you for beer. I'm cutting you off from speaking because I first want to at least give a shout out to Greg, JD Mitchell, and Alex Probst.
Man.
Our entire video production team. They set this set up. They go anywhere. They do whatever it takes. And they always deliver quality work. So I just want to give them a shout out.
They do. They're great guys. I know all three of them. They're great. I saw them at the Derby. Greg, of course, is my man in Lexington. I get to stay with him and keep him up too late.
Excuse me?
They always have like comfortable clothes and they look so calm and cool and relaxed.
Always comfortable.
Versus we're wearing like jackets and stuff and they're like enjoying it and they're pros. I mean, they do a great job. And Alex just brought me a Blue Moon. So
you sleep at his house?
Yeah, I'm a house guest.
Oh,
don't invite me. Wow. You'll never get rid of me.
I just saw a dip.
Are there no hotels in Lexington or what?
No, I mean we bunk up. I mean,
you do?
He's got the guest room. He's like, come on and stay.
Do you guys like watch movies together?
We do.
What do you do?
Documentaries. He's got a great dog. We just live it up. I mean, it's like I'm going home. I mean, I'm at my house.
What is going on?
Tell us about Greg's dog. No, actually, just tell us about who you think's going to win the Preakness.
Yeah.
The Preakness is Medina Spirit. I mean, he's rolling it.
You're going for Medina Spirit?
Oh, yeah. I picked him. Bob Baffert is so good on the 2-week turnaround. His horses are sort of like he's prepping horses for this. Now, granted, I think he was genuinely surprised that the horse won the Derby.
So was I.
But yeah. But I mean,
wasn't.
It's the Preakness and it's a classic race, but we'll cut through the chaff. I mean, it's not exactly the greatest field we've ever seen. No offense to the race, but he beat better last time. He faced better every other race he's ever run in Stakes Company.
Yeah.
And I'm like a contrarian view. There's all this controversy over the horse. I'm like, what could be a better story than this horse winning? I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch the national broadcast. No, hear me out. Not a good. Not when I say good. He's going to win the race. Then he's going to go to the biggest media market in the world, and all eyes are going to be on him for the Triple Crown. Maybe the Triple Crown. What's going on? What's going to happen? Yeah. The New York media is just going to eat it up.
Dude. All right.
They're going to pay attention to racing. People are going to pay attention to racing.
I'll buy
Belmont's going to have crowd there. New York people get into sports. They're going to watch it.
I'm with you on that, actually. Like, not that they're trying to drum up a controversy, but it is good for engagement, and that's reality. I mean, that's an unfortunate reality, I think, for us that just kind of like the sport anyway and are like, we don't need this. And they're like, well, it's not like they're not trying to lean into it. They're not trying to lean away from it either, really.
Exactly. No, and truth be told, I was on a radio show the other day, and I was saying these same points, and they're like, so you're of the opinion that they're, bad publicity is still good publicity, or whatever that phrase is. I'm like,
have you ever been on Twitter?
Maybe, yeah, maybe. But I'm like, for the pure part of the sport, it's terrible, right? I mean, it's absolutely terrible. We need to fix it, and we're going to fix it. And there's lots of things that have been put into place that will fix it down the road. But here's where we are now. And I mean, look at pro wrestling and stuff. It's a great heel turn, right? Like, people love Baffert, right? And all of a sudden, Baffert's like the bad guy.
We need Danielle back for this conference.
Yeah, it's a heel turn. I know. Yeah. Well, I was going to talk wrestling, but I'm not really. I don't really know anything about it.
No. So look, I want to float one other thing
I feel like I'm screaming into the microphone sometimes.
Who is?
I feel like I am. I apologize.
No, you're good. No, look.
Just excited. I've been talking to the same kind of folks all day, and now I get to be with you guys. It's fun.
Yeah, it's really good. So look, we've been mostly talking about the horses that are going to be up front.
Yeah.
Medina Spirit, Concert Tour.
Oh, I have some opinion on horses that might come from behind.
So let's go back on that and talk about whether you think a horse can come from off the pace.
Yeah.
And if so, how far off the pace? Because historically, this race, you got to be within 2 or 3 lanes. I think I saw a stat, 11 of the last 12 winners of this race were within 3 lengths. We're no further than 3 lengths away from the lead at any point in the race.
Yeah. So that changes the tactics in the race, obviously. And I think a lot of guys sort of know that. They know that about the race. It's not a mile and a quarter. It's a mile and 3/16. And I'll tell you, the great equalizer in the classic races is the fact that they're longer than the mile and a 16th, mile and 8. And it makes a huge difference. And you see it. I mean, you'll see it. You see it in the Derby. You see how spread out they are at the end. And that's because of the distance.
Yeah.
They don't run these distances all the time, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But that changes the tactics. So you have horses like Keep Me in Mind, who they liked all along. He's gonna be closer.
That's
I know he's
our
gonna be
team
closer.
horse here. We really do like Keep Me in Mind.
We
and look,
do.
everyone's talking about Midnight Bourbon and the rough trip in the Derby. Keep Me in Mind didn't exactly have a dream trip either. And we know that he's the kind of horse who, he does his best running late too. Yeah. And he's, I think he's got some. It's taken him a little while to get restarted again this year, but I think he's getting there. And I think I would actually be surprised if he didn't finish in the money today. I would be surprised by it.
And then you have horses like Crowded Trade and Risk Taking. Chad Brown loves to talk tactics with his jockeys. He's going to be zeroed in on exactly what to do. And it's different in a 20-horse field versus a 10-horse field. You can you got 2 riders that are savvy riders, Jose Ortiz, Javier Castellano. These are guys that are pros. Put them in a position where they want to be. And like I said, it's only a 10-horse field.
Right.
So, we're talking about a lot of different things.
Big Todd Pletcher fan over here.
Oh.
So I've been looking at the 8. I feel like we kind of all like Midnight
Unbridled
Bourbon.
Honor.
Yeah. Like the, what is it? Unbridled Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Luis Saez, great jockey. So I don't know. That's maybe like my little wild pick.
I like it, and we actually have a video of Unbridled Honor's most recent race.
Oh.
Let's take a look at that. He finished 2nd in the Lexington Stakes.
What a transition. I didn't even mean to.
Beautiful.
It's good, isn't he?
King Fury goes to the front with Starrin' in My Dreams in 2nd. Unbridled Honor 3rd up on the outside. Final furlong of the Stone Street Lexington. King Fury against the rail, 3-length lead. Unbridled Honor 2nd. Starrin' in My Dreams 3rd. Proxy is 4th. King Fury, Brian Hernandez Jr. to win the Stone Street Lexington.
So Danielle, you just saw the replay. Does that make you more excited or less excited
Very
about him?
excited, and especially that he's so young. I'm also a big fan of Soup and Sandwich. very, very young horse, injured, so won't be here.
You are all about because some of these horses are like overexposed. We know who they are, right?
No, I like the potential because someone
you're
had
all
to see
about
the potential in me
Oh.
to do this job, so I had to give that to the other people. No, but I do like. I mean, I think it's silly to not talk about Todd Pletcher just because he's such a great trainer, and to only have one horse in here. Maybe I did like Concert Tour, but I don't love the fact that he hasn't been around for. How long? When was his last race?
Arkansas Derby.
Like
Derby.
2 months.
Mid-April.
Yeah, mid-April. So it's been a little longer. I mean, amazing horse.
Yeah.
Great horse. So.
Historically, the horses that come out of the Derby do better in this race.
Interesting, yeah.
So it's to your point. It backs up your point that you're making.
Right.
But with the way he tired in that race late, do you think it's potentially a good thing for Concert Tour that he gets the little extra added rest?
Oh, I mean, the fresh angle is great. I mean, that's what works nowadays in racing. You see guys 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. It's pretty good. I mean, the Arkansas Derby is now 3 weeks before the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
And then it's 2 weeks to the Preakness. So he's got 5 weeks. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
Guys like Bob Baffert are good in that situation. He had the horse at Churchill leading up to the Derby. They kind of decided, maybe we're just going to give him a little bit more time. Maybe the Preakness suits him a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, that's why he's getting a lot of love. I mean, he's a horse that.
Now let's get a little ahead of ourselves. If Medina Spirit did win here today, there is very, very slim chance that horse would do well on a longer track like Belmont. Correct or no?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of trains of thought on that. A lot of people think that, he's kind of a front runner, and maybe he's just barely getting the mile and a quarter. He's kind of all out in the Derby. They're running at him, and he's just hanging on. But in the mile and a half race at the Belmont, it's a slower pace race. So, like early on, they go really, really slow.
Oh, right.
And then basically they can run, maybe 3/4 of a mile or a mile at just kind of a good open gallop and kind of with the jockey's taking a tight hold.
Yeah.
And then they sprint home that last half mile.
Right.
And he's obviously a horse that has speed.
For sure.
So a lot of times people say, well, the speed horses, maybe they have more of an advantage in the mile and a half race if they can get in front, control the pace, and then you have to catch them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the argument that other people would make, well, he's limited in distance.
Yeah.
His capabilities are a little bit limited.
That was the one thing that I did like about Soup and Sandwich at the Florida Derby was I always want to say she, don't I? In my head, it's a she.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feminine name, right?
He's so pretty. No, it's because he's just like that pretty gray color.
Yeah, beautiful gray.
But I almost thought, oh, there's no way this horse will be able to pull it out because he was just in the lead almost the whole time until Non Agenda pulled ahead. So for me, it's interesting to see horses just go that hard so long. Yeah. And I think Medina Spirit did do that in the Derby. So
well, he lays it out there, and I like horses like that. They kind of give it to you. You know what you're going to get. Sometimes when you have a deep closer, you're kind of like, okay, I need the situation to work out.
Yeah.
I need the pace to be fast enough. I need him to not have traffic. Right. At least with a front runner.
For sure.
You know what you're going to get.
And that's what with Irad, he's always in like 3rd or 4th or 5th position coming around the final bend, and you go,
he's so good.
It's just he's so good.
And same thing with Rosario is another great finisher. Those guys, like when they're when they've got a little bit of horse under them and they're within range.
Oh, if they have a little bit of room, it's over.
Yep.
I mean, it's very interesting too, like sitting with people that are newer to racing, because I remember the first time I saw Irad ride, and I go, oh, he's second to last. There's no way. Like Choice in the Florida Derby, like second to last, and then he just gets up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and same with his brother, same with Jose. So
they're just
good.
Insane.
Yeah, we're in like the witching hour here. We've got 5 minutes to post until race 12.
Dixie. I keep calling it the Dixie. It's no longer called the Dixie.
Used to be the Dixie. Do you
it's
know
now
the
the dinner party
that?
stakes?
Can you tell that story? Do you know the story about behind the dinner party?
I do not.
If you don't, I could sort of half-heartedly.
No, I don't. I've heard it, and I should retain it.
It's essentially a bunch of horsemen, Maryland horsemen back in the day. This is like 18-something. Were at a dinner party, and they were big horse people, and they said, hey, you know what we should do? We should go back and name a race the dinner party. Just the race.
This is our dinner party.
So in commemoration of this great night that we had a dinner party. So they went ahead, they did it. They named the race the dinner party.
Yeah.
And guess the name of the horse that won the race, the dinner party race.
Meatloaf.
Filet mignon. You were thinking the same thing as me.
My dad's favorite singer, Meatloaf.
Oh.
Yeah?
Two very good guesses.
Okay.
And I would encourage anyone to chime in if you think you got the answer. I was like, that is a pretty cool story. The horse's name was Preakness.
Oh.
Oh, were you planning on telling this story?
I wasn't planning on
This is
telling
great.
it, right? I wanted Tom to tell because he's the actual storyteller.
I know I should know that story. It's really weak that I didn't know that story. I was too worried about Bob Baffert and the heel turn.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I mean the ultimate heel
you
turn,
want to
right?
talk about heel turns? How
That's
does
how
that
we.
work?
That's how we brought you back on.
Oh wait, I was going to get into the double. We could get into the
Oh,
double.
yeah.
We could get into the double, but let's talk about heel turns real quick. Go ahead.
I mean, from what I've heard, he's always been a heel.
Yeah.
He just hasn't really been called out as a heel. Also, the best heels are the ones that look you in your face and are great. And when they leave the room, you go, wait a second. What? Were they just me? What do you mean that when he said that? So it kind of seems like maybe he does that with his wins.
What's your history with that? Like you were...
I was always a heel. I was always bad. So for everyone watching,
They
a
boo
heel
you
is
in the
a bad
arena
guy.
and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
You liked it.
But yeah, I wanted you. That's what you want. So there are places like England when they love a bad guy and they cheer you on.
Right,
and
right.
Or Pittsburgh is like that.
Yeah.
Whereas-
Philly.
like
Yeah, right.
Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I'm a big Chicago
the mean
Bears
hockey
fan.
fans.
So like every time I was in Chicago, they'd be like, oh, she loves us.
liked
So
it.
it's fine.
That's good.
So yeah, I was not like a mean, angry, yell in your face heel. I was like a very, you can't sit with me.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say the which word without saying the B word, but the B word. I was the B word.
Yeah.
And it was great. And I can't imagine being a good guy now. I'm a good guy in real life. So I think it's maybe I didn't have the courage to be who I really want to be all the time.
So you
Nasty
couldn't
to
imagine
people.
being one of the good guys?
No, because you also have to wrestle very differently too. So like as a heel, you don't want to do like flips and turns and to make the crowd cheer you on. So I would do a lot of grounds and pounds, a lot of like beating the person up. Where if you're a good guy, you have to do a lot of
by the rules,
showy things at the beginning and touch your toes
Stuff with
and
the flourish.
Touch your
So that-
toes.
yeah, like jump and the girl jumps underneath you, and that's like
Okay.
so not me. But I mean, I could learn, but it's a whole different situation.
Yeah.
So it would have
What's-
actually complicated life. To a
I
certain
literally
extent.
can remember in 6 years of wrestling, 3 times I had to wrestle as a good guy, and before I was like mortified. I was so nervous.
Didn't work.
I was like, oh my gosh. And then I watched back, and you have this thing called a fire up where you get the crowd going. And so you have to be like, come on. And I just felt like such a bimbo cheerleader, like, come on. Yeah. And I just, oh
Got your
God.
pom-poms out.
Yeah.
let
I
it
like
rip.
to just be like, shut up. And yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did to Bob Baffert. I was like,
Oh, okay.
I want to revisit this. We've got a minute
yeah.
to post here to the dinner party.
who are
stage.
y'all's picks? I won the one.
You're on the one. I actually like the one a lot
some like,
too.
Something like a hot brown. He's a New York bred, just like me.
because
I
it's
think-
like drop it like it's hot.
Yep.
What do you think,
Yeah.
Tom? I think the one could wire. I think the one goes all the way on the
Something
front.
like a hot brown. He's out of a mare named Marilyn Monroe.
That's a cool name.
Something like it hot brown. Of course, hot brown. Big 2 weeks ago in Kentucky.
Yes.
Everybody's eating those.
And I actually had the 1, 2, and 6.
I like the 6 a bit
Was
as
my
well.
trifecta.
I like the 1 and the 2 as well. English B, I think, live in here. Kuramata, I think the 3. Chad Brown's horse taking some money. He was 6-1 on the line, 7-2 in here. Really, I mean, Chad's other horse, even money, Sacred Life.
Yeah.
You know, he's a nice horse. Maker's Mark Mile, grade 1 last time. Very deserving favorite, but that's a little short. for my
Michael
liking.
Maker having a great day
He's
so
having
far.
a great day yesterday and today.
Yes.
Killing it.
And I,
mean,
do love Jose. We talk the best about the Ortiz brothers. Is Tyler Gaffleone running anything?
He's not here today.
He's not
no.
here today.
Yeah.
No, I must stay back at Churchill.
Yeah.
So I'm betting a double here. I'm going to bet a double.
Yep.
I'm going to go in this race
Greedy, that guy. Greedy.
with a couple of prices. Yeah, I can.
Well, you got to stay
know
live
what?
into the next.
El
into the
Double.
Preakness, right?
El
I'm going to do
Double.
some like it Hot Brown, who at some point I considered singling. I think the 5 here is a bet against. I think Sacred Life's a bet against.
What do you mean a bet against?
Like I wouldn't touch him at even money. I think when I
Too short.
Yeah, very short. And this is a quality field. This one, he got outkicked in the Maker's Mark Mile. He basically, the other thing that I wrote down here as a note, he was off Lasix and didn't perform to his best. He's also going to be off Lasix here. So that's another discussion. But basically, he couldn't take Lasix, and he did not run as well as he usually does. No Lasix here either. I think even money is, I think you're throwing money away here at even money. And I think I think the one.
Throwing it away. Just let's just throw money away.
I think the one wins. So look, I'm 1-6 here, which is Some Like It Hot Brown and Talk or Listen. And then in the next, I've got Keep Me in Mind, Risk Taking, and Concert Tour.
Okay.
Should I throw in another horse? I'm not using Medina Spirit.
Let me ask you this: the
We throw in
growing
Chad's other horse, maybe.
Maybe I'll do that.
the
Grab it,
growing
trade it.
pool
I'm gonna do it.
totals on the right, is that for the 13th race or is that for this race? It was
Super
showing
high five pool where they're showing
it was
that.
showing like all of them, like trifecta, and it was something like
It's just this race.
4
Yeah.
point something mil.
Yeah, just this race.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
And
I
by
was
the way,
gonna say that's a little low for the Preakness.
no, yeah, it'll be more. And they actually set a record yesterday for all source handle.
Total handle was record.
on
Crazy.
Black Eyed Susan Day. So
Incredible.
yeah, so
With no on-track crowd. I mean,
No
there was an
on-track
on-track
crowd,
crowd,
yeah.
but nothing like
they set a record
50,000
yesterday.
usually.
And
Yeah.
just say we're in a pandemic.
people are betting. I mean, people
You
are
think
home and they're
we're
betting.
in a recession.
People
I
want
tell
action.
you what, all of my friends that know nothing about horse racing, I tell them the ROI on horse racing is like
So much better.
nothing there is ever.
Yeah.
Nothing
So much
on
better.
Super
no.
Bowl,
Turn it around quick.
like PGA, like you can 10 times your money here.
Mm.
This in crypto, but crypto, you got to pay capital gains tax. Here, take it.
Right? You only
Take
got to
it
get in the
and
IRS
run.
window, right? Like,
No IRS.
man, I love the IRS window, though.
I'm really surprised.
I love it and hate it, right?
We used to visit it a lot more. They changed the rules recently.
I know. Yeah.
It used to
They
be.
have to be coming back around to this because when we won the Pick Six, we don't pay taxes on that, right?
No, probably you were okay.
No, because
How
that's
is that possible?
it's because they raised because our ticket cost
Yeah.
was less than 300 times the amount that we won.
Right.
The amount you bet has to be
Oh.
300 times what you win in order for you to get taxed,
Change
which
the
is
tax
almost
law. Yeah.
impossible unless you bet like $1 trifecta
See?
straight and you hit
And
it.
then New York City's going to have 57.8% tax for crypto. That's crazy.
Hmm.
The fact that it's 300 times than that,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Wow.
file a complaint
So,
with
look,
the SEC.
Good news. We may have found the right combination here because our numbers are soaring.
Oh.
Our numbers
right.
are, where's Bram?
Well, they were strong.
Bram just left?
Bram quit.
He's like, they've got it.
You're here for the rest of the day now.
They've got it.
Or I am.
You are. I think I am for sure.
All right.
You are.
So the good news is they're loading into the gate now for the dinner party stakes. This is my pick here. Some like it hot brown. I think he gets the
You guys
lead.
like him.
And I also like Bye Bye Melvin on the outside. Graham Motion,
Graham
as you
Motion.
know,
Having a good weekend.
Graham Motion always wins at least 2 to 3 races between Black Eyed Susan Day and Preakness Day. Graham Motion is probably will finish no worse than second between his 2 starters. He's got English B as
You know
well.
what
the
I think
2
they
horse.
should do? This is my critique of this situation. Is they should place it in their pole positions here because I don't know where the number 1 is pole, like their position is.
In what sense? So
Like it's in
They're in the
chronological order,
yeah,
but where are they on the pole?
Same. It's
it's the
Oh.
same thing. They're actually
Until the last race.
Oh no, it changes every race,
So
right?
this just happened to be the same. No,
well, so
the 1 is in the 1 position.
yeah, no, it is always like that. It's like that every race.
The 1 is
Now
the 1,
in
the 2
Europe
is the
or
2.
in Hong Kong or
Yeah.
wherever
Yeah.
else, they actually the number
Or if you have like
wear.
1A and stuff like that.
Yeah, the number you wear
Oh,
changes. Like it's
I
not exactly. It doesn't
see.
align. So
I
We're at the
see.
post.
oh, here we go.
Here
Here's
we
a race.
are. The 1 has a great position.
See, now I thought he was going to be on the lead. I'm not as excited about things right now. You see, he wants to go,
He's giving him a hammer lock.
and
No,
you can see the
he's-
jockey kind of holding him a little bit.
But that's okay. You can't blow your load
Huh?
right at the beginning.
We are, yeah.
You got to watch what you say, maybe.
Yeah, you. Yeah,
What is he doing? No.
we know you got to get back to work at some point.
No. I'm not worried. Yeah, right.
At some
The
point.
word gets back that I'm
No, he's
criticizing
in great
jockeys.
You also
position.
have
I
this
like
to
that.
finish.
I like that he's in the 2nd position right here.
Yeah, no, he's got a decent job.
But
from
he
there.
definitely held him back in
Oh,
that
he's sitting
first.
a good trip. I mean,
He
he's
is.
sitting behind a big long shot.
Those first
right?
2 furlongs,
really has
definitely
no
held him back a
excuse.
little.
They're going slow.
Oh, there's 2 chains. No, I'm just kidding. As they come around the bend, there is Mr. Chains.
Mr. Chains.
Who's the green? I feel like the
mean-
green's gonna come back with a little
Well,
something.
he's no excuse from here. I mean, he's chasing down a 25-1
Here we
shot.
go, coming on
Not
the
a super
outside
fast
right
pace.
now.
He's got back class. He
This
should
is
be
where
fine.
he's gonna let him wide open here in the final.
I wouldn't mind the
stretch.
6 coming up. I wouldn't mind 1-6.
What did I have? I had 1, 2, 6. 1, 2, 6. He's gonna get up here. Here we go.
Something
Look
like
at him
that.
coming.
They're going
Here
right
we
by
go.
us right now.
They're going
Here
by
we
us.
go. Here we go. That's 7 though.
7's battling.
Right?
7's battling. How about 1-6? How about 1-6 one time? How about 1-6 one time? Come on, 6, hang in there, hang in there, hang in there.
1-6, right?
1-6.
Wow.
Boom.
Go Dan.
Boom. I tell you, you always bring me luck.
Turf races when you have me on the set.
He's been like 0 for 40.
I've been over everything today.
This and the
You
Derby.
needed the lawman.
You're not
between this
leaving.
and the Derby.
You're not leaving. You're coming back for the Arabian race.
Oh,
Race
the Arabian.
14.
Nice.
Our pick 5 was dead in the water first race.
Oh, you needed me here earlier.
Yeah.
All right. So look, we actually basically painted that picture. Like we
did.
knew this
Where
horse was
was
going to
the
be. I thought it was
two?
going to be loose on the lead. I mean, look, he still ran a huge race. He was slightly out of his element, but no, he has the back class. And I was glad with that 6. The
I
6
knew that
thought
5 was going to make a little commotion.
Dan, that was a good
Look
pick,
at that.
the 6.
And
Like,
I told
that's good
you, the
handicapping,
6.
I will say.
I was happy to fade the 5. Hopefully he doesn't get up on the final jump.
You're good.
Yeah,
Good, you're
whichever
good.
was on the closest,
You're good.
right?
Yeah.
Who was really close to him?
That was the 5, the Sacred Life, the favorite.
Yeah.
So
140.09. That was the track record too.
was it
You
really?
said
They
you
set a
wouldn't
course
have put
record
any
earlier,
money
too.
on the 5 at all. You said it was dead.
I said don't bet the 5. Yeah, I didn't.
That
I
5
didn't like
had
the
some
5.
steam. He was like about 6th, 7th place the whole ride. Who
The
was
2
running?
that you mentioned,
Javier?
the 2 horse,
Yeah.
just needed running room. You could tell the horse
Yeah.
was stuck behind horses on the rail.
Joel Rosario, though. He's great.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some doubles. I'm live in some $10 doubles, some spicy doubles,
Some like it hot brown.
$10, $20 doubles, and we got a nice exacta
Out of
here.
Marilyn
I want to
Monroe.
know Michael
The
Maker.
name of the day,
What a
for
day.
sure.
Yeah,
What a day for
Mike
Michael
Maker.
Maker.
2 stakes today,
Mike
2
Maker's
stakes
having a good
yesterday.
day.
I wish he had one in the Preakness. We just bet. We just
Yeah,
unload.
he's
I know.
hot.
So give us real quick before we let you go your Preakness trifecta. Go.
Medina Spirit. I think Baffert is 1. No, not 1-2. I'm throwing out his other horse. I mean, you're just trying to catch some value.
Okay.
I'm throwing out Crowded.
So no concert
throwing
tour
out
for him?
concert tour.
Okay.
I like Chad's horse, Crowded Trade.
Crowded trade.
Second, Keep Me in Mind third. So I got kind of
Okay, so
some
we
closers.
got a consensus there.
Yeah.
So you
Medina
are
Spirit. Medina Spirit wins.
3-4-2. That's Medina Spirit is 3.
3-4-2.
The 4 is Crowded Trade. The 2, Keep Me in Mind.
What are
So-
your thoughts on
Oh, yeah.
if Baffert? What are your thoughts on if Baffert wins and he's not here
Well, he's done that before. So he's got this.
in a triple crown?
Yeah, well, not in a Triple Crown. Nobody's really done that before. I mean, because only maybe last year some guys didn't necessarily travel
Yeah. Well,
because of the pandemic.
interesting, right?
Yeah, he's got this couch at home that he calls the
Well,
grade
yeah.
1 couch.
Oh,
He
right.
watches it on the grade 1 couch.
For me
Um,
personally, I would have showed my. I would have been. Right
I would
here.
too.
I would
That's
have been
the
on
heel
the
turn.
show.
You got to show up.
You got to show up, especially if you're
I'd be
saying.
like walking through the crowd, like,
Yeah, especially if you're saying nothing happened. You show up, your hair flowing.
this
in
is a
the
serious
wind,
offense, though.
you
So maybe
know?
he's like,
Well,
maybe I do need to tone it down. But
he made a lot of comments this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe his publicist pulled
I
him
think
back.
they might have.
Yeah, great.
After the cancel
fair
culture
enough,
lines,
fair
I mean,
enough.
I don't know.
Yes,
Like,
fair enough.
they were like, maybe turn the volume down on
And
that
with
one.
that, you've got work to do, Tom.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure having you.
far.
Is it? No, you're good.
That's okay.
Good to see you guys.
All right,
Good
awesome to
see
see you,
you.
brother.
Good to meet
Great to
you.
meet you.
Come back for a turf race anytime.
I'd shake your hand, but I was gripping this mic and it's
I
sweaty.
know. That's my mic. Thank you.
Really good.
Thank you. All right, now we're gonna have Bram back into
All
his
right.
position.
Bram, I'm glad to see Bram coming back. I wasn't on him with him for very long.
You can. I mean, if you want more Bram time, we can.
That one's mine.
Give me my mic
You
back.
stole my.
Program?
Oh, the program.
Stealing everything.
So, look, that was a positive. Bram, I hope you hit that. We talked about that. Those are my top 2 choices.
Your top 2 choices in the other races.
Oh
didn't
yeah,
do
you
well.
gave up on me
So-
right on time.
Well, I didn't hear you.
That was
you
my
know.
top choice as well.
I liked the 4 and the 8 in that race, and I would have been wise to have taken a shot on the 4 and not the 8.
Dead heat for 3rd. Wow, I didn't see that. I didn't
Dead
realize
heat
that
for
was-
4th. Dead heat for 4th.
Oh, dead heat for 4th.
Yeah,
Okay.
dead heat for
Oh wow, midnight tea time snuck in there. I
That's
didn't
the
see that.
one I wish I had. I was going between the 4 and the 8, and like I said,
Yeah.
once I went with the second choice,
It's
I
always
should have taken.
it's. I know it happens like that time after time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy for Jose because he at the Derby he didn't win anything, right? of the Derby, and
Had a cold weekend there, yeah.
a little cool weekend, and he is a great rider, great jockey. So this is a great win for them. Mike Maker, he's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's
wait,
hot.
some like it hot.
Drop it
Some like a hot brown. Some like a hot.
I feel like there's an inside joke
It's
there.
Mike, some like a hot brown Maker.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish he had a horse in the final race. I'd pick him.
Me too.
But he doesn't.
Me too.
Me too.
Me too. All right, where are we on this?
Um,
What do you-
We're into the Preakness.
So how do you all know that guy that just came on? Who is he?
So Tom Law, he's won what like our version of like the Oscars or the Emmys. It's called the
Oh.
Eclipse Award. He's won that for his writing. He's
Oh,
one of the
great. Where's
best
that?
writers in
Where's
in
the
the country.
Eclipso Awards?
So they do it at Gulfstream Park every year,
Oh
so
my
you could
gosh,
actually
I'll be
attend at some
there.
point. Yeah. So
Oh my gosh, will Todd Fletcher ask me as his date? He's married.
The answer is yes.
JK.
you jump around though. You were Tyler Gaffleone at first. then you
Well,
moved to
no, I just
Iraq.
wanted Tyler to make my horse win. I did not want to date. He has a girlfriend. I've already looked into it. And they're too short. They're already too short. They're too short. I'm
That's what you-
5'10".
That's what you were most fascinated about at first.
Yeah.
You're like, they're so lovable. They're like the perfect
They're cute.
size.
Lovable.
They're cute, but
Yeah.
my calves are for sure bigger than their bodies.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
Also, too, I feel like a jockey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a jockey really garners attention and thrives on the spotlight,
Mhm.
and there can't be two of us in a relationship.
Yeah,
like, that's
true.
me. You
It's gotta
know?
be you. You're,
I don't know. Maybe, or they have like little man syndrome. Do they? Do you think? Like, where they have to be like the center of attention?
I mean, I don't know. Some of them are pretty like humble, like hard
Yeah,
nosed,
that's good.
kind of gritty guys. Like, you know, they could probably live in your shadow.
Yeah. I feel like there should be Real Housewives, but like real not the wives. I wanted just about the jockeys.
Well, look, we're talking
Real
about
Housewives
celebrities.
of Jockeys.
Yeah, but like I just wanted the jockeys, not really the wives. I
You're
just
like,
want to know about
He's
them.
never here. He's never here.
Yeah, there's like he's never
Or in the
here,
morning, He's not here.
and I can fit him in my suitcase. Like that's what I want. You know?
I want to bring in our next
Okay,
guest.
yes.
Very excited. We've got Chi-Chi,
Hi.
Chikama style.
Where's she gonna sit?
She's going to sit right here in my seat for now,
Okay, take your seltzer.
and I'll come back through at some point. Sit right here. That's you. I mean, you're gonna blow up our social channels with this outfit. So
Yes. Take
Grab
your
that.
stuff so
I'm
it's
gonna
not
take all
in.
my junk away. I'll take it.
Guys,
All right.
there has never been this much fashion on an ABR set ever. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
Nice to
So
meet you.
it is actually both of our first Triple Crown races.
Right.
Yes. And you got to walk around a little bit.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It's so beautiful. Like I have no clue about what goes on in this whole
Same.
scene, but like this is really beautiful. I
Yeah.
love what I see.
I'll tell you what, whoever cuts the lawn here and does the planting of the flowers, I need them to be at my house. It's just amazing. And the fashion, have you been able to look at some people's style and everything?
I did. Pretty much everyone came out,
Yeah.
still in the game.
Men or women winning today?
I'll say the women.
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 What do you think? Men or women do better fashion at this?
Are you kidding?
It's a little, because you know what it is? It's like the guys go wild. Like that guy in the suit. Like they wear like horses on a suit, which,
Yeah, I'm not into
They
that.
still
Are you
look
into that?
good.
well, it's the only place that you can kind of do a loud
I understand that.
suit.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. You should.
Yeah, or like the ESPYs. Like there's like
Yeah.
two places, you know? But the men can be dapper. There were some nice men in the infield.
Yeah, with the white pants and the shorts,
Yeah.
with the hats.
Yeah. But it's a lot
So
harder.
you're saying everything I did was wrong? You
No,
did it- you just described.
no.
It's a little
No, word.
but it's a little harder for the men. Like for the women, we have so many choices of things we can do.
I think for the men, it's pretty basic. You know,
Yeah.
either you're wearing a blazer, or shorts,
Yeah.
you know, like a fedora hat, or you know, sunglasses, a moccasin, or whatever. But it's really basic for men.
Yeah,
Women, we go all out. You
for
know?
sure.
Just like
and it's
you.
so fun. And especially with the pandemic, we've been sitting at home and forever. So I said I haven't worn high heels until any of these events.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Pandemic.
It was a lot, huh?
Yes. But I'm happy to be here.
Fabulous. And so where is your hat from and your clothes?
So my hat is from a lady on Instagram. Her name is think I can't pronounce the name, but I'm gonna
post it on your socials.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it. And it was a last minute kind of thing, but I'm glad that I love the hat. Like she really went all out.
It gets very, very aggressive.
She really went all out, last minute, and she came through.
Nice.
My dress is from a local designer. Her name is Kenya Nunez.
Amazing.
Custom tailor, and she had these made for me. So
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. And the colors are really bright. The lady that made my hat said that this racetrack is bright and fun like her. And then she told me my colors were a little not this racetrack. Yeah, but I said, guess what? I already have it and we're coming.
Summery. It's like summer vibe.
Yeah. It was great. Before she was like, I don't know, you want to wear that Saratoga? I was like, no, I have it right now. But that's good. And then are you going to be betting at all? Like on the last race or baby steps?
Baby steps, I guess.
Baby steps, yeah. It's good to just kind of watch everyone and see what's happening. And then once you get a little more confident. But I will say my first couple of bets that I did with the boys, I had no idea what I was doing. And I was winning more when I had no idea. And now I feel like I overanalyze it too much and I don't want to.
That's probably the problem.
Probably, yeah.
So why don't you just go with your gut instinct?
I may just be like,
it's two.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing. Like, I'm going to bring my mom to one of the races and I know she's going to end up winning everything. And it's going to make me mad because she knows nothing. But yeah.
She's been to the Preakness before?
No, she's never been to any races. So I'm going to take her to Saratoga, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
All right, let me ask you a think through the look thing for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, so you're coming to this place. There's kind of a regalness to it because it's a big Triple Crown and historic thing, right? And it's the horses running, so it's got that kind of like old world feel to it. And then there's a 2 Chainz concert going on 8 steps away, right? So
disconnect or connect?
Connect. Yeah. How do you connect the two of those? Right?
We were actually dancing to it and like laughing because I was like twerking in my dress, and I said, "It just feels so fun to be all dressed up and then like dance."
Yeah.
And I think it definitely brings maybe a younger crowd out. Like I know the reach of the horse racing when you think about it, it's like
you don't know the half of it here. Yeah,
like, it's a lot of like older,
rich
men. And I think maybe by having like younger artists, it's like
there's a whole lot of younger audience out there.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of vibe out there, you know. So
also when we were out there, do you feel like the people were a little more dressed down? Like shorts?
Well, so traditionally this event is an interesting mix. Like the people who get dressed up are sitting where we're sitting or sitting in the clubhouse, and the people who are out in the infield are sloppy, for lack of a better term.
Fabulous.
And I don't mean that in the worst way.
No.
I've enjoyed that environment my entire life.
Yeah.
So, but it's a combination of both. It's kind of, it's all worlds here are colliding.
Yeah.
It is a giant typical party scene, right, that goes on here that's beyond the concert.
Right.
And then there's this kind of historic, regal, upper crust, I'm going to show you, look at this kind of attitude about it. And I like all of that because you can cross into all of those worlds at the same time.
You know what that reminds me of is NASCAR. Have you ever been to a NASCAR race?
No.
Yeah. So what have you?
Yeah. So I went to the one in Napa, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
I'm like, wait, what's in Napa? Which one's in Napa?
In Sonoma.
Oh, yeah, Sonoma.
Sonoma. There's a track in Sonoma, which right out in wine country.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. Like
For
there's
sure.
this like really high-end party that is going on kind of overlooking the track, and it's a road track, so it goes on for miles. So there's all these different areas of it, and then you go down in the kind of the pits and the party scene, and it's a little county fair and big party. It's like a whole different world, you know.
Because I used to work for Bobby Labonte's team. I've had every job in the world, but because you can BYOB, like your alcohol to NASCAR, you have like the bourbon and everything, and people in jeans and t-shirts, and then you have like upper class people, but then some people with the RVs in the middle will be millionaires owning the team, but they're in jeans and t-shirts too. So I like that you kind of can't tell who's who. And I think with the hats, we can like pretend to be someone that maybe we're not, like that I'm not for myself, but it's fun.
This sports the entire spectrum. Like at this one event, you could have the Queen of England and the guy who works at the grocery store down the street all in the same place doing the same thing at the same time. It's pretty wild.
Like, have you ever been to the Kentucky Derby? No, because this is your first
year. But I've been to the polo event.
Oh, the polo event. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
because it's interesting because Churchill Downs is actually not the nicer track in Louisville. There's Keeneland, and when I went to Keeneland, it was gorgeous.
Yeah.
Really
Keeneland's
nice.
very historic and really nice.
Yeah.
Churchill's a great kind of old venue, very standard modern sports venue.
Right.
Keeneland's got that old feel. And when you go to Saratoga, you'll feel the same way about Saratoga.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you step back in time when you walk there.
And then with the Kentucky Derby, it's so interesting because for the boxes, people spend tens of thousands of dollars.
Wow.
And there is paint chips coming off of the wall, these crickety little seats. And then they go, we're not going to charge you for that. But if you want $2,000 more, you can have the private room. So those people pay more, and then they just fill the seats. They make
you got to understand, the Kentucky Derby is an Americana pop culture huge event.
So I'm still trying to get a hang of what that Kentucky Derby is, because like I feel like it's overrated in terms of like the fashion and what goes on in there. I've never been to one, but I don't know how.
It's not Milan. You know?
Yeah, a little bit. I think like if anything, well, for the horse racing, it's the beginning of the three. Okay. So it's really, really important as far as like it starts off, it's this one, and then Belmont, that's in New York. So it's important for that.
It's the next one.
Yeah, but I will say like, if you do go to the Kentucky Derby, there may be like a fraternity brother throw up on you. Like you just have to like wonder where you are.
I said, you haven't seen this place in all its glory. Okay? One fraternity brother, try 8.
Yeah, so I guess Preakness is turned up too, but we had fun. We were over by the music and stuff. So
and it's still popping right now.
For sure. And I will say, this is a really great first race for you because we are right near the horses.
Yeah.
And at the Derby, I don't think we'd be that close.
No, probably not. No.
Yeah.
Not this close?
Not this kind of proximity.
Yeah. This is a really nice setup.
I really, this sport, to me, it provides a scene that I think is kind of unlike any other in professional sports. Right?
Yeah.
With this backdrop, here's this party going on there.
Yeah.
This can kind of be about an experience and less really about whether you know who you're betting on in the race.
Sure, yeah. And I think once you have this many drinks and you've been here all day, you're betting all your money.
That's right.
Forgetting yourself?
Yeah, they know what they're doing. They're
it's
like,
the Vegas
here.
mentality.
Yeah.
Right? It's the Vegas mentality.
They're like, oh, here's some music, here's 2 Chainz, here's vodka, bet it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see right now, I don't know what it's up to, but it's at least 6 million.
6 million, yeah.
Right? Like giving the puck. If it was 4.5 for the last race, so
4.5 for the last race?
Yeah. So when we were at Gulfstream, it was a little over 7 mil, and it's a lot.
Oh my God.
Recession who? Apparently.
What?
I know. Well, thank you so much for coming. And what is your Instagram handle and all your socials?
My Instagram handle is Chicama Style, and you can find me there. You can find me on YouTube, Chicama Style. You can find me on my blog, chicamastyle.com.
Love it. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Of course. All righty, Dan.
Come on, Dan.
I'm going to do a boomerang of 3 of us.
Oh,
yeah.
Dan's got more hard seltzer. What do you know? Come on down.
We are actually just 47 minutes away from the 13th race, but in real life time, that's an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. What are we doing? We're taking a picture, Dan? You can take a picture for us? Oh, good.
Come on, Dan.
I don't know how to do that.
All you have to do is hold it and then we move.
Dan does a lot of boomerangs.
Hold on. Do it from over here, Dan. Do it from over here. So, okay, ready? Okay. All right, so you don't have to move. We'll move. Okay. Say it when.
3, 2, 1, move.
Did you move?
I don't know what to do. Is there a boomerang style guide that someone could hit me up on? You know.
Boomerangs. Oh, that's cute. Okay, tag us.
I'm so good at this. I'm so good at boomerangs.
Guys, also great bow tie for Dan. We can critique his fashion. I did. Oh, and your belt has a horse on it. Show the camera your style.
No, really, do you need to do that? Is it necessary to?
Are you
just
on Instagram?
I am. Yeah.
Oh, I could have been tagging you. What's your Instagram?
Real Bram W.
Real Bram W.
Yeah.
For everyone out there
What's
that's
your handle,
wondering. Real Bram W.
Real Bram W.
And actually, I don't know who our next guest is.
That's Stephen Weinstein. We'll bring him over here. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Stephen, how are you?
Thank you. Of course,
Bye.
girlfriend. Thank you so much. Guys, this is what happens. You can. I've only dated hockey players, so maybe you. No, maybe you should come.
Sure.
I'm gonna get some more water. Just kidding, guys. I haven't.
All right, Stephen Wino, Associated Press. Come on in. Come on down. How you doing, man? What's going on? How you doing? Wonderful. So, what do you think today? It's been a weird week, right?
It's been a weird week.
Been a weird week. Yeah.
I think Midnight Bourbon's winning this race.
You do? Why?
The video guys are insistent. I know you're an AP guy. You got to hold it.
Yeah.
Right
Okay.
there. You go.
No,
Now
no,
you're a TV guy.
I mean, Midnight Bourbon's my feel here. I just watching him train this week. I just think that's it.
Yeah. What was your just give me your general sense of the Baffert barn? What kind of vibe were you getting out of them this week?
Tense. Is
Yeah.
tense the word here?
Yeah.
Just Jimmy Barnes being here and not wanting to answer any of the questions. I mean, he does his job and saddles the horses, but he doesn't want to talk about how Bob's feeling in California. He doesn't want to talk about the antifungal medication that's going on and whether they're still treating the horse with this. It's been a weird feeling around them because that's the only thing anyone cares about with this race. I mean, they care about the Baffert horses. Concert Tour is primed for this race after the Arkansas Derby, and everyone's talking about Medina Spirit, but Jimmy Barnes doesn't want to talk about any of that stuff, and that's what has made the week difficult.
Yeah, but you didn't say Concert Tour, so why aren't you on Concert Tour then? Because I'm with you. I think not running in the Derby should be an advantage for him. This is not an extraordinarily deep field. This is a Baffert horse. What Mike Smith's on. I'm like, why aren't we all on Concert Tour?
We might be, and at 4-1, I think when I go to the window, it's going to be for Concert Tour if Concert Tour is at 4-1 at that over Midnight Bourbon at 5-2. I don't like the price of Midnight Bourbon.
Last night we had dinner last night. You were all over Midnight Bourbon.
No, I wasn't, because when he got bet down to be the favorite, I think he's going to win the race. That's the thing. That's my problem is I think Midnight Bourbon's going.
You think Midnight Bourbon, but you got to take the money. It's 5-2. That's still money.
I'm gonna throw a bunch of exactas and tries together with Midnight Bourbon. I don't like the value at 5-2. I think that's the thing, and you pointed that out. And you thought Midnight Bourbon was overbet in the Derby.
I think it's overbet in the Derby. He's overbet now.
Yeah. I mean, look,
I think he's overbet here too. But this is a very different field than the one that was in the Derby, and the Derby is not a particularly strong field, but still, I mean, there are 3 or 4 horses here that I can't even begin to make a case for. So that gets that down to 5 or 6 that we're really talking about here. And therefore, 5-2, while I don't like it either, feels about right to me.
I think at Midnight Bourbon, we're at that 4-1, 5-1. Remember, we got War of Will here at 6-1 in 2019 and made no sense. That made absolutely no sense to that horse after Country House and Maximum Security didn't run in this race. That to get 6-1 was a heck of a price in the Preakness. Look, I think Midnight Bourbon wins the race. That's the problem I have right now. But I'm not as good at this as Dan is. I didn't have Medina Spirit in the Derby.
Why aren't you on Concert Tour? Because I'm not either. But why aren't you on Concert Tour?
I think it comes down to 2 reasons. I think that in order for him to win, I think he needs to be loose on the lead. And I know that, or at least I feel that the Baffert team has seen Medina Spirit run, and they know that he can't pass horses, but that he's pretty gritty and won't let horses pass him. And so my thinking is they know that if there's one of the 2 of them that's more likely to sit off the pace and win, it's Concert Tour. But I personally don't think Concert Tour can sit off the pace and win because of the way he flattened out so badly in the Arkansas Derby.
The Arkansas Derby was really surprising. I mean, that was supposed to be a tee-up for the Kentucky Derby, and then he would have walked in there probably the favorite had he won that or close to it. And then it was a surprising loss. And so I'm questioning distance, I guess, here. I mean, that's where I am on him. I'm questioning distance. And I don't know if I should be, but I'm questioning distance on him.
But if Concert Tour is on the lead, is loping along on the lead at the first turn, I think he wins the race. I mean, I think at that point, if he is not being pressed out there by a Midnight Bourbon or is not kind of sitting back behind a Medina Spirit, then Concert Tour is set up to win this race. I look at that Arkansas Derby and I feel the way about it as Bob Baffert did. I didn't like the race. I didn't like how he showed up in the Arkansas Derby, and that is my concern. The timing seems right, but it's hard. What have you done for me lately? And what Concert Tour did lately was disappointing in the Arkansas Derby.
Right, but if you're going to go, what have you done for me lately? And you watched Medina Spirit, the last 2 prep races, you would never have come to the conclusion he was winning the Kentucky Derby.
And I did
Come on.
I didn't come to that conclusion. Dan did.
Except for Dan.
So look,
except for the tooth over here. That was all.
So let's talk about a couple of horses I like. I like Keep Me in Mind. I think I made a little bit of a case earlier. I didn't like the Derby trip, but I think he's finally rounding back into form. Another horse I like is Risk Taking on the outside. I feel like a lot of people are ignoring this horse. I want to take a look back. We've got a video here on risk-taking in particular. Risk-taking, of course, looked impressive doing it. Let's take a look at how he did in the Withers, and then we'll talk about why people don't love him.
Eagle Orb in second. Risk Taking is next in third. And then Shack Queen King. Royal Number is in fifth. Overtook on the outside in sixth. 3/4 went in 1:13. It is still Capo Cane with the lead here. Risk Taking drives up on the outside. Capo Cane, Risk Taking. Eagle Orb is third. A late move from Overtook as they come down for the 16th pole. Here is Risk Taking to take over the lead in deep stretch. And it will be Risk Taking to win the 141st running of the Wither.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Now, he did flop in the wood, but, you know, horses have bad days. I mean, you can see horses bounce back. I mean, I know that I personally tossed Mandaloun. I was like, I'm not using Mandaloun in the Kentucky Derby because he ran such a bad Louisiana Derby. He finished 7th in that race. But he came back for the second Kentucky Derby. Like, why not Risk Taking? And he's 13-1 right now. We got it on the screen right there. He's the 9 horse.
I like both Chad Brown horses here, as one of them is going to take a piece. I don't know which one it's going to be. And if, and I mean really if, the top 3 that we've talked about are off for any particular reason, then I think one of them could steal it. But I have a hard time buying that he gets by all 3 of them. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like one of those 2 Chad Brown horses, Crowded Trade or Risk Taking, is on the board at the end of this.
And what is it you don't like about Crowded Trade?
So my only concern is that Chad Brown has actually been vocal about the fact that they were initially going to send him to the Derby, but they didn't because they have concerns about the distance. So this is slightly shorter than the Derby distance. That's my concern, is that, you know, can he stay close enough and then also show enough kick late? I think with Crowded Trade in particular, like, I actually think he's got more tactical speed than Risk Taking. And so I think given the way the track's playing, that benefits him a little bit. Yeah. But if the trainers was scared to send him to the Derby, even though he could have gone to the Derby with him, I mean, how confident should I be going just a 16th of a mile less here?
Well, I mean, the question is are you going to have Crowded Trade do a cloud computing bit here? It's the same connections, right? All 3 of them. And Chad Brown may not be all that confident in this horse, but how confident was Brad Cox and Mandaloun going into the Kentucky Derby? I mean, this was Brad Cox. We were talking about essential quality and little training and all that. But then Mandaloun comes and runs a Derby.
That's true. Sure. I do want to mention, since you mentioned cloud computing, it is the same ownership team. It's the same trainer. It's the same jockey. Let's take a look back at what happened last time. You had Klarovich, Javier Castellano, and Chad Brown.
Computing is third to the outside, and they're into the stretch, and it's Classic Empire turning for home with a 2.5-length lead. Cloud Computing has moved into second. Always Dreaming has dropped back through the field. They're coming into the final furlong. Classic Empire, here's Cloud Computing going for the upset. Classic Empire digs in. Cloud Computing draws alongside. They come to the finish together. Noses apart. Cloud Computing has defeated Classic Empire in the Preakness.
So, I actually remember being with you in the infield when that happened.
Yeah.
I remember you being mad at me because I had cloud computing.
Well, I'm always mad at you, Dan. the recurring theme that occurs here is you tell me something's going to happen early in the races. I agree with you. It doesn't happen. Then I don't bet with you, and then it does happen, and then I'm furious.
So that's what happened. I gave him my picks earlier today. I went like 0 for the first 10, but I did hit the last race cold, and the exacta paid pretty nicely. So.
And you did this yesterday, too.
And I did it yesterday. I've been getting hot late. I think now would be the time to jump aboard, bro. Keep me in mind. I will say this. If the track were playing completely fair, I would say take it to the bank, bet everything you've got on Keep Me in Mind to show at least.
Right.
I think he's going to hit the board. I'm 95% confident. I'm not going to give you a 100% guarantee. Yesterday, I could give you a guarantee of some 20 to 1 chance to hit the board. This horse, I am 95% confident hit the board.
Robertino Diodoro spoke with him on Wednesday, and he said, unlike previous races, he said, we're going to stay along the rail as long as we can in this race. And given how the inside has been playing the last 2 days, That's what gives me the belief to keep me in mind. I agree with you. I think he's hitting the board.
I think so too. You want to do a little hockey? I mean, you have
We have game one tonight here in the old DMV with Boston and Washington, and I think, overly confident in the home team in this series, mainly because they have owned this team not recently, but owned them over the last 4 or 5 years. Zdeno Chara, who's a legend that will be a Hall of Famer, is playing against Boston. I think it's a difference maker. And I have two general concerns. One, I don't think we know the relative health of the Capitals because they've had a lot of problems here that it's too long to list at this point. And their goaltending is a hot mess. So in both of those cases, I'm concerned, but I got a funny feeling Cream rises to the top and they figure out how to win this series.
I disagree because the domination of the Bruins was with Braden Holtby in goal and with Philip Grubauer in goal and not with Vitek Vanacek, who's never played in the playoffs before. That is the biggest question. Evgeny Kuznetsov is missing in action, has been on the protocol list for now a week and a half at this point, over a week and a half. It's hard for me to see the Capitals outplaying the Bruins and winning. If they somehow Vitek Vanacek steals the series, or Craig Anderson, 39-year-old goaltender, comes in and steals the series, I think it's possible. Yeah. I think it would take something spectacular. I don't know that they can play better than the Bruins for 4 out of 7 games.
I think it's going to be a very tough, gritty, unusual amount of chippiness between these two teams. And I think the Caps want it that way, actually. And that's another difference I think is going to happen. I think they're going to figure out a way here. I think they are too beat up, and I do not believe in the goaltending situation to make a run, personally. If they get lucky and if they get through this and get the Islanders in the second round, I think they have too much skill for a team like that and they might advance. But I like them here, and I know they're an underdog here, and so maybe I'm feeling my oats with underdogs right now, but you get a price on them. I don't know. I think
what is the price?
I need to look at what the
it's
price
like a plus 150 on them just to win the series.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
At that point, I would pick them to get to the Final Four. I'm with you that I think if they get past the Bruins and somehow the Penguins get taken care of, they could do something like that.
They will be in the Eastern, whatever the conference finals are,
semifinal,
whatever that's called.
Whatever
that's called this year. It's weird. I like, and as for this year, I have a hard time buying anyone beating Colorado, but the hockey's so weird that it's really hard to tell. But they are so red scorching hot right now that it's just hard to see them lose it.
Colorado Avalanche are my midnight bourbon. I think they're going to win, but I don't like them as the favorite. I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but I don't think that they're that substantial of a favorite.
I like your value play, though. I know your value play because you told me yesterday who your other team is. And
Carolina.
I love Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina Hurricanes to go to the final. Great coach, 3 solid goaltenders, 2 really good goaltenders, and a solid guy. So if guys get hurt, they're okay. It's a fun team to watch. I think people would enjoy the storm surge and the hockey and the barbecue in North Carolina. It'd be fun spring in Raleigh.
Yeah,
you're looking forward to. That's what I'm looking for. Spring in Raleigh.
That's what I would want. But look, hey,
that's a low standard. If I really just want out of my pandemic is spring in Raleigh.
It'd also be fun being at the Irish Channel in DC for some Capitals playoff run too. That wouldn't be all that bad.
I'm still bitter that Boston on Carolina because as a Rangers fan, obviously they long suffered, but I actually had a cup in my lifetime, so I should be grateful.
You should. Yes.
Jesper Fast, I thought was probably our best all-around player. So losing to Carolina hurts. And then the guy that I hated I wouldn't say hated, but I really was I was not buying last year was Svechnikov. I'm like, who's this Svechnikov just destroying us right now? Yeah. And he's amazing. He's 20 years old.
Can I talk to you about the Rangers for a minute?
Talk to me about the Rangers.
Are you guys the biggest wusses on the face of the planet Earth putting out a statement, crying about a fight that occurred and demanding that a person in the NHL get fired over it?
I don't
Are you mortally embarrassed by your organization?
I told Steven last night, I said, this was my year. I watched 25 games of this Rangers season, and then I turned the TV off. I stopped watching the Rangers. I'm like, I can't do it. I mean, we had all sorts of issues. We had the Panarin thing going on. I'm it's almost reached Mets levels with the Rangers in terms of my embarrassment as a fan of the team.
Those 48 hours, though, where we beat them up, right?
Yeah.
Had an incident that was bad, but not criminal, for crying out loud.
Suspendable.
Right? Not suspendable. NHL does what they do. They cry about it in a way I've never seen ever, are forced into a gang warfare fight to start the next game, and we beat up everybody again. That is maybe the worst 48 hours I've seen of an organization in a very long time.
And they get fined $250,000, whatever, $250,000, and they fire their GM and their president.
Yes.
That all happened within a span of 72 hours.
Yeah, that's beyond anything the Jets have ever done. I'm sorry, it is. It really is. It is. That's not butt fumble. That's the worst. Okay?
We've got 30 minutes to post until the Preakness. Midnight Bourbon holding steady at 5-2. We know you got to get back in a little bit. Give us your trifecta. How are you going to bet the Preakness?
I'm going to throw Keep Me in Mind with Midnight Bourbon and Concert Tour, and I'm still picking among the longer shots in this field. I think you're right on one of these Chad Brown horses. Yeah. I'm leaning toward Crowded Trade as being in that superfecta trifecta mix. I'm with you and Lucas. I don't think Ram can hit the board. Right. I think there are a lot of horses you can throw out here of being in contention, but Midnight Bourbon with I'm throwing out the Japanese horse too, and I'm throwing out Medina Spirit. I am not betting. I am betting this race as if Medina Spirit comes back off the Derby with nothing. I think that's and I might lose, and this horse might go to the Belmont, but I'm going into betting this at the window without Medina Spirit in my trifectas and superfectas.
Yeah.
At all.
And I'm the same way. There's a saying.
I'm wrong, of course.
There's a saying, and it's slightly grim, but especially around the racetrack, you hear it a lot. They say, I was there for the wedding. I don't need to be there for the funeral. That's kind of how I feel about Medina Spirit. It's a way to humble brag, me having Medina Spirit at the Derby. And also tell you that all of this stuff aside that's happened over the past couple of weeks, from a pace perspective, I cannot, and I know you keep saying, we see it race after race. We keep saying they're not going to let the speed horse go out to the front loose. This horse will not be loose today. This horse will not be on the lead today. He's either getting pressure from Midnight Bourbon, or he's taking back slightly, and I don't think he can win under those circumstances.
If Midnight Bourbon has a normal break and nothing goes wrong, I don't think that horse has a choice but to put pressure on the lead. I just doesn't have a choice but to do that. So if we get a bad break with Midnight Bourbon, that might mean Medina Spirit charges out and is gone, and nobody's catching him. If Midnight Bourbon comes out clean, I expect bad break. I expect Midnight Bourbon, all things go well at the break, then he's going to be pressuring him, and I do think someone passes him on the far turn and he doesn't recover from it. But will he not hit the board? That's a risk, because I don't think it's a deep field. Okay, I think there are 3 or 4 horses that are nowhere near 15 lengths back of this group. So
I'm going under the assumption the Concert Tour is going to be on the lead to start. That is my thought going into this race, is if it's Concert Tour on that lead, the Medina Spirit's not going to factor in.
I agree with that. Medina Spirit on the screen right now. Stephen Wino, appreciate you taking a few minutes with us. We want you to enjoy the rest of your Preakness day, and hopefully you catch some tickets here.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Stephen.
All right, Danielle, you're back.
All right, Dan, before we get back into it, I want to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
So we haven't spent no time talking about. This is it for the Preakness as we know it.
You're quitting? This is it?
It's not. It's
I'm
not
done with you guys.
leaving. It's just the venue as you know it is not going to be the same whenever it comes around again. And we had David Wilson on earlier, and he's saying, "Hey, let the Maryland Stadium Authority talk about what's happening." But this is likely the last time this race will be run here under the current structure, and they're going to sell off a big portion of the land. It's going to be a different venue. So I don't know. There's this part of me that just pour one out for old Pimlico, because this is kind of it, for the way we knew it.
Look.
But what's gonna? That's gonna be the only thing that changes. I don't think it's that big.
The clubhouse. They're selling off a large portion of the land. It's going to be reconfigured, and the infield, while it's going to exist, will be different. This is all going to be very different when we come back. Whenever we come back to it.
Yeah. Where did the Islanders used to play? What's that? Nassau.
Nassau.
Yeah. We were the last with WWE. We did the last event at Nassau Coliseum. And I remember because the Entourage people were there after, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, right? And everyone kept saying that to us, and I was like, oh, this dump. This needs a facelift. And I remember it almost like had asbestos in the walls. Like that
Yeah.
place is so old. And for the
Almost having asbestos is not as dangerous as having asbestos.
what I meant was I can't confirm or deny if it has asbestos or not. But we also had lingerie football league when I played there. We were at Nassau Coliseum too. So yeah, I guess it is like different when it's like completely different.
Yeah, I mean, like I
Who
think that
knows?
probably the Islanders fans will tell you the same thing that I would say about RFK Stadium, which is going to get raised finally in Washington, D.C. and was the home of the Washington football team for years and years.
Yeah.
It was a dump, but it was our dump, and we loved it. Like, we
Just
loved
talk about
I
my
kinda
dump
feel-
like
I feel,
that.
I feel the same way about Shea Stadium, like as a Mets
Yes.
fan. Like City Field, I've been going to City Field now for what, the past 12, 13 years.
It's nice, but it's not the
It's
same.
not the same.
I know.
It's not the
Okay,
same.
so that's like Wrigley Field. Like how Wrigley, they don't have the electronic scoreboard out in the outfield. So if they all of a sudden everything was electronic,
It's not
it'd
even
be
about
weird.
the technology so much for me. It's like the tightness and the creakiness and like just that certain sort of vibe you get when you walk
energy,
into
the
an
smell,
old place, like an
all
old
of it, yes.
stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
It really has that. And I mean, the all-time great horses ran here. They all ran here. Secretariat, Seabiscuit, they were all here.
Justify.
Justify was here as well. See, this is why you should be drinking hard seltzer and not water.
Guys, it's not Corona. I've had a PCR.
I mean, honestly, like, thank God that phones did not have cameras or Instagram when I was in my 20s here.
Tell us more. Tell us
Otherwise,
more.
I'd say
What would we see, Bram?
There's no place on earth that
Mhm.
would have more embarrassing moments of my life than
Yeah.
about 50 yards that
The
way.
infield.
Right, yeah.
By the way, right now, just about a couple of articles,
Seven.
this horse, 7. France Godina. We have not spoken about this horse. You love the jockeys. Listen to this.
Joel Rosario.
Joel Rosario,
Huh.
who's riding Concert Tour, is now riding this horse from Japan, who we know very little about. We know that he's done a lot of travel.
Why? Is it because someone got scratched?
No, he opted to ride this horse. He rode this horse in Dubai.
Are you sure about that?
He did. He opted to ride this horse. We know that. I mean, we knew Concert Tour was pointing to the
But
Preakness.
he said, no, I'm not riding Concert
Look,
Tour, or
do I
Bob
know that he
Baffert's
got
giving
booted
the
that
boot.
Baffert said, I want Mike Smith on this horse? That's a possibility.
But are we sure that Concert Tour's performance at the Arkansas Derby did not warrant Bob to say something like, I don't know, we're going to
I don't think Joel did anything wrong in that race. Do you?
No, I don't, but I don't know how
No.
Baffert feels about it. And it
But
did seem
who-
kind of odd that he would choose this horse who no one's ever heard of.
Who's
Was in Japan, and
Right.
then,
This horse-
United Arab Emirates.
I'm sorry, I would not be surprised if this horse finishes 3rd or 4th. Just kind of just clunks up and finishes 3rd or 4th. We haven't spoken about him at all.
Yeah.
Well, in my all bet, he better finish 4th, okay?
Let's talk about a few other long shots real quick. Ram, Dwayne Lucas, 85 years old. The trainer, 85 years old.
Wow.
He has had 47 starters in the Preakness in his career.
Wow.
Okay, he's won multiple times. We have a video we want to show. The last time he won the Preakness, it wasn't actually too long. It was 2013. A horse named Oxbow. Let's take a look back.
Into the stretch, and it's Oxbow. Oxbow, a furlong to run. It's my lucky day on the outside, trying to close the gap. My loot on the far outside. Oxbow down to the 16th pole in front. It's my lucky day to the outside. Tries to catch him late, but it's Oxbow and Gary Stevens to win the Preakness.
I get paid to spoil dreams, and so unfortunately we go over here and you can't mail them in. It's a different surface and a different time, and you gotta line them up and win them.
We saw there Oxbow. The way Oxbow did it in the Preakness is that he went straight to the lead.
Mhm.
No one pressured him, and he ended up winning. We know that's not going to happen with Ram, with Dwayne Lucas's horse today. Isn't fast enough, but he is fast enough to secure a good spot on the rail. I don't know. I'm not giving him much of a shot, Bram. Any chance?
No.
Ram.
I don't think so.
Especially at that position, the one. I mean, it's just such a hard position, and I don't know.
He's going to be behind the luck.
I mean, if we're going to talk speed, we got to talk Midnight Bourbon. As far
Midnight
as speed.
Let's talk. So is that where you're landing?
I think that's where I'm landing. I think this is my picks. Woo! Here we go.
So
Drum
hit
roll.
us with it. Hit
Drum
us.
roll. We got the 5 Midnight Bourbon. I'm going to throw a wild card at the number 8 on
Unbridled Honor.
Bridled
With
Honor
Todd Pletcher
with
nonstop.
Todd Pletcher. I like Luis Saez. He's done some good things for me in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I'm going Consort Tour.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I just think it would be silly not to include him in any kind of trifecta.
I think that's 100% right.
Or at least
Concert
superfecta.
Tour has done enough. You would be crazy not to use Concert Tour in your combinations.
Right.
He's done enough and he's shown enough potential. Even on his bad day,
Yeah.
he should hit the board in this race.
For sure. And he's fresh. Like, I hadn't really thought of it like that. What was the other guy's name?
Tom, yeah.
Tom, yeah. Tom talking about that. I didn't realize it was only 5 weeks since he's last raced. I thought it was almost like 2 months. And usually having that much time off isn't great, but I guess it is fresh legs if it's only been 5 weeks.
Your point was a good one, that a lot of times, historically, especially recent history,
Yeah.
the horses coming out of the Derby do actually run better in the Preakness than the new shooters, as they call them. So one other horse, we've talked about the Chad Brown horses. I wanted to show a replay on Crowded Trade. We showed the risk-taking replay. Let's take a look at Crowded Trade.
Crowded Trade's a good. You have the 4.
I like the 4, yeah.
Replay here is from the Wood Memorial. He's the 2.
And Crowded Trade is coming on now as they come for the 8th hole. It is Dynamic One. Here's Crowded Trade on the outside. Wayburn continues to battle down at the rail, and it's a 16th of the finish. And here's Bourbonic, who was last, making a late run out in the middle of the track. It is Dynamic One and Bourbonic. Dynamic One and Bourbonic, a photo finish. Bourbonic got there.
Do you like this horse because he has the pedigree to do it and he had a bad day there, or do you not like that horse because he got beat by Bourbonic and Dynamic One, who did nothing in the Kentucky Derby?
So the Bourbonic close was one of the most thrilling ones of the whole Derby Trail. So I think that was a high ceiling, top out surprise thing. Also, Bourbonic got a terrible post at the Kentucky Derby, so I thought was rendered basically useless going into it. So I don't know how to judge it. And I like Crowded Trade here. One, I just don't think we know enough. It's lightly raced. I mean, 3 races, we don't really know here.
Yeah.
There's a little cloud computing there, which is not a big backdrop of information there. Castellano's an upgrade, a jockey for the horse in general, too.
That's true.
So I like both Chad Brown horses here, and at least one of them to hit the board. And my gut tells me it will be Crowded Trade, but it's partially part of the unknown there. I don't know what his ceiling is. So I do feel like that's going to be in every bet of mine for sure. How high, I don't know yet. I mean, I'm having a hard time getting past. Do I think he's beating Medina Spirit, Concert Tour, and Midnight Bourbon? No, I don't, but like, could he end up second or third? Definitely.
And also at the 10-1 odds, I mean, that's a great bet.
It's a great number. It's weird. Your horse Ram's taking money right now. He's on to 13-1. That's a short price on that
Ram
horse,
or keep me in mind at 13-1.
Yeah.
If you gave me a prop bet and I could bet that straight up who's going to finish ahead of one another, I'd bet everything I have
keep
on
me in
Keep
mind.
Me in Mind.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But back to Crowded Trade, I just don't know enough. I like this. I think there's an unknown here. Obviously, there's great connections involved here. I don't know why I'm just off Medina Spirit. I just don't see the bounce back again. I just don't see it. So, this to me is Concert Tour or Midnight Bourbon, and if one or both are just a little bit off or don't run a pace that's too hot, I think one of these could steal this.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time getting there, but I think one of them could, and that's the most likely one in my mind.
Crowded Trade, it feels like we're going to have a bit of deja vu, right? Because he kind of feels like that horse. Like that year was Classic Empire, was the big horse coming in, and Cloud Computing was under the radar. I think Crowded Trade could do some damage. Now, one horse we haven't spoken about at all is a horse that I loved last year as a 2-year-old, Rombauer, the 6 horse, 13-1, actually taking a bit of action too. We've got a replay of Rombauer not winning, but finishing behind 2 horses that were super highly regarded, Essential Quality and Highly Motivated in the Bluegrass Stakes.
Highly Motivated has the lead coming toward the quarter pole. Essential Quality second on the outside. Still a half length separate the top 2. And they've opened up by 7 lengths off the turn to Hidden Stash, who swings wide in third. Here comes Essential Quality now, taking aim once again at Highly Motivated, who still has the lead coming into the final furlong of the Toyota Bluegrass. Highly Motivated with the advantage. Essential Quality is still driving at him from the outside past the 16th pole. Highly Motivated. Essential Quality. What a finish! The champ remains unbeaten.
So what do we think? Did we see enough there to get excited?
Oh gosh, I mean, I'm such a jockey training person that I just am not familiar with either for him, and I was a little underwhelmed by the video. But thanks so much for showing me that. What are your thoughts?
You are the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you. You really have been bringing it today. That hat, your fedora, and you have really been bringing on this broadcast.
This is the heel we heard about earlier.
The belt buckle.
She's
I
starting
don't
to
know.
heel
What
now.
are the odds for him? I mean, I would
13-1, not good enough.
I would pick Joel Rosario, the Franco-Dina.
No,
How do you say that?
that opportunity, that ship has sailed. Like, you can't bet Franco Dina anymore.
I also do love the Japanese races. Can we ever do that with America's Best Racing?
Can we do that? I was thinking about that too.
But it's America's best racing.
I know.
America takes Japan.
Yeah.
Imagine the plot twist.
I want the whole stream to be an anime.
I'm sure there's a decent sized war built around.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of a big deal in Japan.
I just want to
Wrestling's
follow.
a big deal.
I just want
there.
to follow you around in Japan. And
Oh my
see
god,
what
it's,
you do.
it's like my bucket list. Japan's my bucket list under. I really want to go to Iceland as
Are you big in
well.
Iceland too?
No, I'm really big in India, South Africa, and Japan.
What's up with India? What?
India is the #1 most socially active country in the world. So per square capital of people, it's overpopulated, oversaturated, that they're just very, very socially active.
Nice.
So on my Instagram, it's like Dubai, like all these or not Dubai. What is the Mumbai, and then what is the capital of India? This is the part of the stream that everyone's gonna quote.
Geography trivia. By the way, if you
That's gonna annoy me now that I don't know.
Scramble the letters of Franco Dina, you have India. That's what I've got for now. The countdown on the screen, by the way, says 25 seconds. We're about to get footage of the Preakness Stakes through Jockey Cam. So you love the jockeys.
Oh my gosh,
We're gonna
Jockey
see it
Cam.
from the perspective of the
New
jockeys.
Delhi, New Delhi. I was looking it up.
New Delhi.
Mumbai, New Delhi.
A lot of
Jockey Cam reminds me of like jockey underwear. Like it's like a new ad. Like, have you got your Jockey Cam today? Log on here.
All right, here's the countdown. Let's see what pops up. We don't know what's gonna happen now. It hits 0. There's the Jockey Cam. How cool is that? You got the
that
video.
is
So the
cool.
jockeys are wearing cameras, and that's Keep Me in Mind and Midnight Bourbon. How about that?
Oh, I feel like I'm gonna get a little seasick, but also very cool.
Can you? Well, that's the whole point of this. Is giving you
Great.
perspective.
And
of
it's
the flight.
great because I think all three of us have Midnight Bourbon in our picks at some point.
Oh,
Yeah. And I Keep Me in Mind. That's my pick. We'll
That's
know.
your #1 pick?
Keep Me in Mind is my top pick.
What are your top 3? Give me your trifecta.
Keep Me in Mind, risk-taking concert tour, but crowded trade at close fourth.
Risk taking.
So you don't like Medina Spirit or Midnight Bourbon?
I'm
at all?
tossing Medina Spirit and Midnight Bourbon. I think they cancel each other out. That's the way
You're
I've
the
envisioned
2,
the
the
race.
9, and the what?
I'm 2-9, 10-4. Bram Rombauer, any chance?
So, like, first glance at it, I just kind of didn't like what I saw in general. That wasn't a great finish at the Bluegrass. And, it's been very hit and miss with him in general. So, I'm not feeling it. I guess probably the best way to put it, I'm just not feeling it.
But good for him for trying. A for effort.
A for effort.
Sir Michael McCarthy.
Yeah, look, Mike McCarthy's a good trainer.
Yeah.
And, I think he's brought this horse along the right way gradually. And I think the horse has a big future. The way the track is playing, the horse is generally pretty far back, has to make a move, and I'm not sure that his kick is going to be better than the late kick of a horse like Keep Me in Mind. So I don't have him finishing last, but I don't think he factors.
Who's 2 Chainz got in the race?
Yeah, more
Anyone ask you?
importantly,
Yeah.
I'm just so upset I didn't meet 2 Chainz because I wanted to know who his picks were and also if he's purchased any crypto because I had a project for them to great for. I can't say it on air. Tell me your trifecta.
I'm not there yet. I'm still
11 minutes.
11 minutes. That's a life.
That is true. Do you think like the person at the window placing their bet, the one that doesn't get in, do they yell and throw a fit?
I mean, I almost yelled earlier. I walked out and 6 race. Yes.
Because it's like when you're at the airport and they cut off the baggage,
Oh, you go nuts.
but you know you have time to go through security, the whole thing. And she's like, sorry.
The Weddy Artist of
And
the
she's
Year.
not-
What do you do in
Oh,
that scenario?
I
Drop kicker?
no, it really depends.
Preakness
This
1
guy.
through
It really depends if it's like the last flight of the night.
Yeah.
Oh my! Or you know what? Sometimes I say, just take my bag, put it on after me. I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Like, because if I have to get a hotel and it turns into a whole thing, they're gonna put me at a Motel 6,
Right.
and I'm a woman. Like, that's not
Hey,
good.
just send me home. I don't care about
Yeah,
the
I mean that's
clothing.
fine with the clothing, and then also
Wait,
too.
I don't have I didn't steal the jewelry.
Totally, and also too, a lot of times with insurance, you get cuter, more expensive clothes.
That's right.
If you claim it.
That's right.
DJ Nice is actually here. I thought he was live streaming from home, but he's here. I saw.
I guess he's doing it here.
Oh look, they put that girl's pics up there. Why do our pics not go up there?
That's a good question.
America's
That's
Best
next
Racing.
year.
We need to have our pics up there.
Why aren't you telling the world what our picks are?
I know.
Because we also have not
But you don't know
flip-flopped
your-
1,000 times.
I know. What were her pics?
What if we did that? If they put our picks up there, it would change every
Yeah.
couple minutes.
They
Like,
don't
I like this one now.
actually-
Now I don't like
You're
that
like,
one.
she just tweeted in something different.
Yeah, I think it would have to be qualifiers. Like
Yeah.
10, kinda. You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Midnight Bourbon, loved him earlier today.
And then, like,
feel
JK,
lucky about him
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Not sure. Yeah.
JK, TBD,
Maybe.
LOLs by like some
Yeah,
of them.
let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Are you telling him to take BTS with us? Oh, hi.
Horses.
Welcome to our live.
146.
Guys,
on the
we want
Preakness
to know
Stakes.
who your
Now
picks
making
are.
their
So
way
place it
onto
in the
the track
chat
here in Baltimore.
next to our live stream right now. If you're at home, if you're on Twitter, let us know. Tag ABR Live. Yep, that's what it says.
So there are a lot of comments,
us
actually.
know.
Let's go through them. Let's go through the comments here. Medina Spirit for the win. Okay. Midnight Bourbon.
Yeah.
We've got some concert tour.
What do you think about that idea if they showed our pick stand that we could like show them waffling, you know, as they go like, well, I like this one now, but I've changed my mind and I like
Live-
this one now.
live adjustments?
Live adjustments of picks.
I
Yeah.
like that.
Don't have to stick to anything.
Let me tell you something. Going through all the comments from the viewers, keep sending them in.
Yeah.
It looks like
Midnight Bourbon and concert tour.
Now look at the board right now. You see that 5-2 that just lit up in yellow? That means Medina Spirit's now the favorite.
That's not surprising.
Who was
really,
the
to me.
favorite before that?
It was Midnight Bourbon.
Well, they're tied. They're both tied to 2.
But the fact that 3 is yellow means that he's taking more money,
Oh.
and he's now the favorite. So,
Interesting.
all right, keep
Also,
telling us
that
who you
cop
like.
looks like Victor Cruz. And do you see the first cop right there? He looks like Victor
Where is
Cruz.
Victor Cruz?
I know
Vic.
Vic.
You know Vic?
Yeah.
Oh,
But he
nice.
kind of looks like him right there. Oh my gosh. I'm going to cut this off Twitter and send that to him.
All right, so
Shout out Vic.
we've got some hot takes here. We've got risk taking now.
For the
We've got a Rams selection.
Oh,
one
they've
on
been
the ground,
listening
owned
to the
by
stream. Do not let
William
Dan
Max
influence you on Ram.
Well, I think this person's been listening to you,
is
Nick,
Ricardo
or Nick's
Yes.
Unbridled Honor.
Oh, see, we got a little unbridled honor. I don't know. I like a little wild card. Unbridled honor to me feels like my soup and sandwich. Like it just feels right.
And
I think you can make a
Luis
nice play
Perez
move.
is just incredible.
This guy I like. This guy gave us a $10 trifecta bet. He says
John
bet
Velasquez,
374 in a
owned by
trifecta.
Zidane Racing,
Why?
Trebles, and trained by
He only gave us his picks.
That's
Hold
just
on.
bet 374.
4, Crowded
7.
Cage.
7. Wow.
Fake news. You know?
We now
Yeah,
have multiple
374.
people.
And then the 7 out of 2 is like a lot.
Now that's gonna like karma is that's gonna happen in that order.
Yeah.
374. Like that's gonna happen.
Number 5.
How much would he win if he did a $10 trifecta? Also, why can't we see the prize
Rasmussen,
pool,
What prize?
like the purse?
He's junior up.
Like the payouts?
Yeah, like why can't we see how much the total purse is for this? Are they going to show it?
So the purse for the actual race itself is $1 million. That's what's up for
For
grabs.
the one person. For the
It's actually so the winner gets 60% of that share, and then the rest is divided up. Second gets
no,
a
but
percent.
like us at home betting.
Oh, so in terms of the prize pool, it's on the bottom of your screen. So if you're watching, not at this moment, but you'll see some of the exacted payouts. Also, when you're using first bet, go in and hit the projected payout.
Yeah. Because remember at the Florida Derby, they were like, "Oh, today we have to give out $7.2 million."
So that was a guaranteed mandatory pick six payout day.
Right.
I do not believe this is a mandatory pick six payout day. So right there on the top right, they have a super high five pool, which means you pick the first 5 finishers.
Yeah.
There's $603,000 in that pool. Now,
And the first 5 finishers in order.
yeah, but of course you could box them. You could do a couple here, a couple there, like just like any ticket. You could put more horses into different
That's
spots.
how you do that.
So
Who would you box?
Would I box?
Yeah.
I would box 5 horses.
Yeah.
Medina Spirit, Crowded Trade, Midnight Bourbon, Risk Taking Concert Tour.
Yeah. I do. I guess.
Sorry, Dan. I know.
Unbridled
Keep me
Honor.
in mind to win, and then I'll be like,
Unbridled Honor Concept Tour. Keep Me in Mind. Medina Spirit. Midnight Bourbon.
all right.
I guess I'd keep me in mind.
oh, look at that, Dan. Somebody does have your pick up there.
The rate. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. I love you guys. I think you've done great, even though you've been ridiculing my hat all day.
Okay, what's
This is what we're gonna do. Give me one horse. Speak. Midnight Bourbon, or who?
you want my number one?
One.
Midnight Bourbon.
Talk to me.
To win?
To win.
Midnight Bourbon.
No, I need a different one.
Different one? Fine. Fine.
Speak.
Fine.
Tell me. Give me something.
Okay, if I'm not, I would take Midnight Bourbon. Give me Crowded Trade.
Okay. We're gonna do a little box here.
Oh,
A little team box.
Daddy's boxing us in.
Daddy's boxing it all
Crowded
for
Trade.
us.
Midnight Bourbon. Keep me in mind.
We've been good little angels
You've
today.
been
No, it's good. I'm giving you. It's
All
a Kim hat.
team ticket.
What are you doing? Keep me in mind.
We're doing a
Solid.
trifecta box.
Okay, teach me how to box.
So we just
Time for the
went
big
2,
one as
4,
the horses
5.
are
Keep
warming
me in
up
mind.
on track.
Crowded
You're getting a
Trade.
good look at
Midnight
them.
Bourbon.
Trackside and
And they
Naomi.
can come out in any order. That's the box.
But it has to be those 3.
Has to be those 3 top 3 finishers.
Now
That's
your
a hard
favorite
bet.
in Medina
But we can do
Spirit.
this. I'm
Yeah.
feeling good energy
I
from
feel
this.
good about it as well.
Yeah.
What's the tooth thing?
The tooth is feeling keep me in mind. Like I'm feeling a little tingle around keep me in mind.
Little
The
tingle.
CDC told me I can touch the tooth if I want to.
Soon, not yet. I think there's a new guideline coming out on that. New guideline.
We have been maskless all day.
I love that we have no Medina Spirit.
To me, look at
I do love that
Spirit
too.
as an
There's
individual.
a part of me that just loves
We're
it.
just really, but there's also part of me that thinks
Now, of course, we know
we
he was
just
purchased
mag.
$1,000 as a yearling.
Medina Spirit.
Well, you know, okay, let's just go ahead and talk about that for 2 seconds.
Let's do it.
As far as publicity for the sport in general, that would just blow up in a positive way too. I mean, it would
Yes.
just be. First of all,
That's reality. Yes.
you're almost to a triple crown, which is exciting for Belmont.
Yeah.
You've never had that for Belmont. I'm like, well, we haven't had it in a while. Well, 3 years, but still.
Yeah.
It's been a while. That makes it exciting. Adds a little dimension to Belmont. And also, too, with everything going on, it could be a comeback story with more negative test results or whatever it is. You know, I'm not mad at it if it happens. It's like it's a plot twist.
We've also speaking of plot
for
twists,
sure, as he was really a little bit keyed up
like
coming
this,
here
like
onto the
the
turf
B
course to
sample,
get
basically,
added.
the retest of the test. And again, we've talked about this a number of times.
With the
I don't
pony,
know
the other one from the Bapper
at
barn
this
is
point.
in concert.
That result could very well go back in time for Belmont. At which point, Naira, which runs the Belmont Stakes, has to make a decision. And I'm not going to necessarily say that I know what they're going to do.
What if it came back negative again?
Now, if it goes back negative, we have their decision is pretty easy.
Yeah.
But if it goes back positive, then you've got a different scenario.
B sample from that race or from this?
Yeah, from the Derby.
Oh,
So
yeah.
now, if he wins these first 2 races, he's heading to Belmont, she has a triple crown, and imagine they saying, can't run.
Yeah. So
They're
what
not
did
doing
that woman say? They take 2 samples each race.
Brand,
I think the most impressive.
what was your, so there are 2 things. One in the moment under normal circumstances, yes, they take basically a sample. And then if it's positive, they take that same exact sample and they test it again. But for Medina Spirit, they just basically added scrutiny. There were more tests for Medina Spirit than for the other
This
horses.
week, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this week. So,
Wouldn't it be out of the system?
well, see, no, this was clarified, and I didn't completely understand it at the time. But like the second sample was taken at the same time as the first sample. It just is being tested now. Why that's not coming back very quickly is something that I would like to know from the people who do test it. Like, why after this came out, I don't know, a week later, why are we here on Saturday Saturday, waiting to find out, like, wouldn't you want to know? But I don't know why that's the case. I don't want to speculate why that's the case. Secondarily, the protocols this week were at least publicly discussed as being upped because they wanted the integrity of the race to be ensured. So not only Medina Spirit, but Patrick Tour, who's also being trained by Bob Baffert, went through a number of different protocols. The rest of the field had to go through it as well, but obviously with so much scrutiny on the Baffert horses, they tested overtime. And at this point, the horse is cleared to race this week. Does that justify what happened 2 weeks ago? I don't know. You know, and that's where I think the nebulous part of this whole thing is. If it ends up that second sample comes back positive again, where are we? If Medina Spirit has won 2 legs of the Triple Crown, it essentially gets nullified. And I would think at that point, Ira steps in and has to do something about the Belmont Stakes. But I don't know. And that's why we're in this kind of cloudy territory.
Yeah, and for sure. And at the end of the day, the testing, we had rigorous testing for WWE at all times. And we would always have 2 samples that were collected. It was usually within 48 hours. The second would take longer. And it's by a third party. So it's interesting. I mean, it would stink because there's other horses that possibly could have gotten a Triple Crown. If that first one was negative, but we'll see. It adds. So the whole world is watching.
Yeah.
So no matter what sport it is, I have multiple friends that play, professional sports and UFC fighters. My friend's actually fighting next Saturday for Bellator, and so am I allowed to say?
Are you allowed to?
I don't know because it's a competitor. Okay,
you tell us.
Maybe. But anyways, they get tested like crazy, and so no matter what, if you cheat, you cheat. So we will see.
But listen, to your point, you know this living in the WWE, that controversy can also stimulate engagement.
Yeah.
And so, listen, for all of us, who are really into this thing, like this has been a blight this week.
Oh, I've had so many people text me, and I'm like, what?
It's been a really difficult conversation.
Yeah.
You just find yourself defending the sport. I don't really even know how to answer questions.
Yeah,
I don't know the answers to it. I don't know what this drug does and all that stuff. At the same time, larger, at-large public, they're hearing about this, and unfortunately, not that I think the sport is leaning into it, but they're not going to lean away. I mean, the controversy does bring engagement, and it's not that they were looking for it, but it isn't the worst thing that ever happened. Especially if Bob Baffert's telling the truth, and this was something that was used that was not used illegally or not masking anything, and he's right. And I think for all of us, we all hope about that, because the last thing we want is the integrity of the most important day that this sport has to be compromised. It's just the last thing we want.
So the horses are headed toward the gate right now. Incredible engagement. And actually to the point that you guys just brought up about the publicity, although it is obviously at this point, there's a sort of a cloud over it. And given what's gone on with Medina Spirit, we do have a lot of people who I can tell just based on the comments are kind of feeling through this thing and who maybe would not have been watching today, who are kind of curious to see what's going to happen. Our viewership numbers, our live viewership numbers, because I can see them here, I'm not going to say the actual number, are higher than they were for the Kentucky Derby, almost twice as high right now.
For sure.
So actually, let me start off by saying congratulations to both of you for an awesome show. I thought this was a lot of fun, and obviously the viewers are responding. We are at twice the viewership right now that we're at for the Kentucky Derby.
Amazing. Well, that's great.
But that's
it's what happens when you bring us there.
I appreciate that, but
all eyes are on it now, but all eyes will be on it like around after the results come out. So if it's negative, people owe Mr. Baffert an apology, and if it's positive, he needs to shut his mouth because he's done a lot of talking this week.
There will be a lot of fallout, so we'll see.
So they're loading up, huh? They're loading up. All right, Dan, final order.
Number 7, your Japanese horse is a little spooked.
So France Godina acting up a little bit.
Godina.
All right, now, Dan, keep me in mind. That's where you are.
Keep me in mind is my horse here. 14-1. I'm taking. I actually bet him across the board. I'll usually just like a win or win place bet. I bet him to show here because I got to imagine that that's still going to pay pretty nicely. In this
I mean, you hit that, you're going to hit it here. 14-1's an incredible price for you, especially in a field that's not that deep, and clearly he's above the 3 or 4 that probably aren't of this caliber. So I think you got a decent shot with that. I hate going chalk here, but it's not the favorite anymore. But I'll go Midnight Bourbon here. I think he's going to get out to the front. I do think Medina Spirit will fade, and I like the speed up front, and I have a hard time seeing anyone catch him.
Okay. And Midnight Bourbon Concert Tour, I think is pretty much where we're at.
but
And a little bit of Unbridled Honor.
I think a little unbridled honor. Now let me ask you this: why do the cops come to the? Do they just want to watch, or are they trying to see if people
I
jump?
think they're just watching at this point. And this is the cool thing. Behind us, in a moment, you're going to see the horses go by us.
Yeah.
You're going to watch it in real time. The horses are going to pass right by us for the first time, and they're going to pass by us again as they're turning for home. So here they go. They're all loaded in the gate for the Preakness Stakes. On the right side of your screen, you've got Jockey Cam with Midnight Bourbon, and they're off.
A bit slow to go is
So
Keep Me in Mind.
we broke
Otherwise, the
far
good break
back
for them all.
with Keep Me in Mind. Medina Spirit on the lead, getting the token pressure for Midnight Bourbon and Concert Tour. So this is what I talked about.
Exactly what I wanted. If I got the break, which clean break from Midnight Bourbon, and just hang with Medina Spirit early, if he passes him relatively early, he's off to the race.
And also, Midnight Bourbon working with someone in front of him, I think, is really good for him as well. He's riding hard.
Here's Bram racing on the inside. Bram Bauer between the horses.
That is very slow. That is modern. It's the half-mile time when it goes up.
Second last position on Bridled Honor is 10th and last as they move past.
Even though he's getting a little bit of pressure from Midnight Bourbon, he has no excuse not to win this race.
But I will say, Crowded Trade could find room on the rail.
Does that say 46?
I like where he is. The move feels a little early, but I do like where he is.
Okay, so they are moving.
When is somebody going to pressure me?
That's Francisco de Hino.
Midnight Bourbon now try to challenge.
So they're putting pressure on Medina Spirit. They're not letting him enjoy the sort of comfortable lead.
Well, I think they have to. I don't think they have much of a choice. I mean, you got to pass them before they stretch the curve.
Let's go! Look at Midnight
Bauer is making a very nice move.
And then it's back
Anybody
to Keeping in Mind and Unbridled Honor. This is for long minute 10.
Irad in this corner. Watch Irad as he comes on
Medina
the
Spirit.
outside. That's where he loves to go.
Midnight Bourbon looks like it's every shot right now. It's going to be Midnight Bourbon.
And on the outside, Bram Bauer is ready to roll too. 3 chances.
Keep in Mind rallying far outside. Ron Bauer. It looks like Ron Bauer could win this race.
Wow. Yeah.
It's going to be Ron Bauer in the Preakness. How about that? Midnight Bourbon looks like he'll hold for second and for third.
My comments did not age well.
Keep Me in
Thank you
Mind.
for playing, Ron Bauer.
Mike McCarthy is a spectacular horseman. This horse, this is not essential quality in this race. That would think with this horse, is he getting better? He doesn't have to go up against essential quality, and will they press Medina Spirit? They did. I will say, Concert Tour, I was fairly confident. If they were 3 wide with him and he wasn't close to the lead, he wasn't going to do anything. Concert Tour backed way out of it.
Yeah.
And if you can hear the crowd right now inside, it's almost quiet. Like no one
had Ron Bauer.
bet Ron Bauer.
No.
Like there almost became everyone goes, and then they're all going, who's this?
I mean,
Like,
this
who's
really, the whole thing, I bet you the people are going to be the most surprised by this are Askerson and Irad on Midnight Bourbon. This is exactly what they would hope would happen. Just get a good break, hang with them, try to pass him. If you get by him, you got him. He's not going to come back.
Yeah.
He didn't think anybody would be there at the
right
end with him, and it's a surprise. And there was only one that was even remotely close to them. It was a completely strung out field. Ron Bauer ran race of the year for him.
Yep.
And I think to your point here early, the pace being slow enough, kept someone like Ron Bauer alive here, because look how far back everybody else was. Midnight Bourbon, I bet when he passed Medina Spirit, I bet Ira thought I had this in the bag.
You probably didn't even see him coming.
Never saw anybody coming. On that turn, Ron Bauer got a big run. He was the only one that had any shot at this. I mean, I'm surprised the result wasn't on Ron Bauer to do it. And the way it played out, it looked exactly the way I pictured it. Midnight Bourbon hangs there, gets to the front, and that's it. It's over.
So that's the total.
$58 million?
$58 million. Yeah.
How are we in a recession?
So,
Unfortunately, came up
I
late.
bet all my money on Keep Me in Mind to win place to go, and he finished fourth, so I don't get paid for fourth.
You know, so let me ask you this: why was the pace so slow in that first quarter?
I will say it was slow early, but we saw some early moves, including Francisco de Hino. I think they recognized they were going slow. That second quarter is faster, and that 3/4 time is respectable.
Yeah.
especially for this distance.
Because it being like what Bram said, it being so slow kept Rombauer alive. So
early on, it was slow enough.
I wonder why. I wonder now if they're going to look back and go, "Oh, why didn't I just break for it?"
You know, it's interesting. I heard Pletcher this morning talking about it, and he was saying, you know, if we get a hot pace, that's good for my horse because then he's got a shot. The slower pace actually worked against a lot of the others because when Midnight Bourbon or if Contra Tour was there or Medina Spirit really kicked into gear, no one else was really going to have a shot. I mean, this was exactly what Midnight Bourbon I thought would do. Either on the backstretch or turn, make the move. And if he gets past the Medina Spirit is done in terms of winning, he won't come back. I think he's as surprised as anybody that there was even anybody there once Contra Tour wasn't in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
And who sets that pace then? Is it Medina Spirit on that first quarter?
You know, they let Medina Spirit get out, but they didn't let him get loose, and then they hung with him, and that's all they were looking for. You could see he was riding easy. Ortiz had exactly what he wanted. It was the perfect layup for him. I think he's as surprised as anybody, and Rombauer just had a huge run in him. That's all. He had a huge run in him.
Speaking of jockeys, Flavien Prat famously moved up to a Kentucky Derby win after Maximum Security was disqualified. It was Country House that ended up winning the Kentucky Derby, but this is now the sort of cornerstone win here for Flavien Prat, who's been a fantastic jockey on the West Coast, which is why we talked about earlier. Like, I don't know this guy. He rides on the West Coast, known primarily as a turf specialist. He's now won a Kentucky Derby. And he's got a Preakness.
He's that sneaky underdog.
Sneaky underdog.
It's interesting.
And he's only 28 years old.
Yeah. He's like the Chicago Bears in the playoffs. You're like, I don't know. They're fine. And then all of a sudden you're like, had one in them.
I'm glad he won this too. Because if you go back to that, he's the one who put in the infraction and he wasn't the one that was actually harmed by all the things that happened. And people were kind of like, come on, man. Geico. What's up with that? Geico. What's up with that? And here's the other thing with Medina Spirit. And this is exactly what happened to Medina Spirit in the two major prep races that led into the Kentucky Derby, got out to a lead, got past. There was no coming back from it. And that's why, except for you, nobody was on him in the Kentucky Derby. The field was too deep. It just didn't look like it was going to be able to happen. It's exactly what happened in the other two prep races.
I'll say what happened here. The reason Medina finished third, and I had Medina Spirit finishing completely off the board today. I was hoping that he would finish fourth and I could cash my ticket and keep me in mind. There were two reasons. One, I thought Midnight Bourbon would put pressure on. Now, it didn't happen early. It ended up being a combination of horses that ended up putting a little pressure on him. But the other reason is these horses, they're athletes, right? So if you give maximum effort the way he did in the Kentucky Derby, you got to expect that coming back 2 weeks later and being asked to do the same exact thing is going to be tough to do.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's what happened here. I mean, the horse 100% did not have a full tank. I mean, the horse was going. You could say whatever you want about, put any sort of, spin on what happened to him in the Derby versus now. Regardless, any horse, you look at racing history, they run a race as big as he ran in the Derby, they're going to be a little tired a couple of weeks later. They're going to run out of gas a little earlier, and I think that's what happened here. But he did take a little token pressure earlier, and then you could see Joel Rosario kind of get a little anxious and move up the rail with Franz Godina. I thought that was sort of the moment in the race when everything changed.
What were his odds? Rombauer
11-1, which is actually much shorter than I would have expected. Looking at him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was listed morning line 12-1, so
I thought he drifted up a little bit. There was no buzz around Rombauer at all this whole week. I mean, there was not.
This week, the odds, the only ones that they really moved on was Midnight Bourbon, who was listed as a 5-1 and went off as a favorite here. Yep. So that one took money, and that took money early because he was a favorite most of the day until really the last 30 minutes or so, when not surprising, a lot of Medina Spirit, that's name power. I think there's a lot of people know that name, and money came in that way from general public. I'm surprised here, honestly, because I don't think we knew what we had here. And I think, when you go back and look at it, his speed rating went up every single race.
Yeah.
So maybe there were some signs here that we should have caught. This was Pratt running the first time with him, though.
Yeah.
He's had 5 different jockeys on him. I mean, it's a very unusual path to winning a race like this.
That's horse. You said he looked so slow in that clip. That's such a good point, because that was the Bluegrass Stakes. That was only 5 weeks ago.
Yeah. He just looks okay.
He
but
was so far off
he
from
was
Essential
running
Quality.
against Essential Quality in really good races. Do you think horses know when they win?
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, I'm just looking at him, and he kind of looks really happy.
No, I think they do, and I think.
Yeah. His ears are forward. See, he's happy.
I think they do. I think they do know, and in some cases, and I follow this a lot. I think Dan does too. you can tell certain ones that compete a different way than others. And you can
Yeah.
just tell. You can see it in the way that they move and the way that they
Aw.
react. And in the case of like Medina Spirit, to Dan's point, if he doesn't get past early, he doesn't get past late. Well, that's not taught. Like that's in there, right?
Yeah.
That's in there. And that's why it was so important that that move has to happen at some
Yeah.
point. Because if it doesn't, that horse gets better if he doesn't feel like he's going to get beat. And he knows where the finish line is. They're trained that way. Once he does get past, that's the difference between the great ones and the really good ones. The ones that come under the pressure that fade are the ones that really don't have that kind of warrior will.
Right.
There are other ones that keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back.
And that is why it is a sport, is because whenever you're a really good coach or a good trainer, you know how your athletes respond.
Mhm.
Some respond well under pressure. Some respond well when you talk to them versus yelling. And so it's like some of these horses like to be in the lead and feel the people behind you.
Yeah.
So you know you got to come out the gate early. Some of them like to chase the others
Mhm.
and then finally pass them. So there is a method to it. And I think there's a general consensus with the public. Some people that aren't into this, like, oh, it's not a sport. And it really
Right.
truly is. It's really a science behind it.
There's so many layers to it.
There's a tremendous amount of strategy involved in
Yeah.
this. I mean, we kind of laid out what we thought would happen, and it kind of did play out that way. And at the same time, here's Rombauer, whose their connections were probably saying, here's what's going to happen, and here's where you need to be. And if you can get him there, you're going to have a shot. And the horse
Got
had a
him
run
there.
in him.
That's a
He had a
good point.
really big run. And I mean, the horse was
And that's
really
where we
way off.
failed. We didn't think the horse did have a shot.
No.
So, I mean, that's, and it was hard to land on Rombauer. Look, if you have Rombauer, you hit the race. All the credit to you. He ran a massive race. He showed potential throughout. He showed flashes as a 2-year-old. He's shown signs of progression this year. But this was a hard horse to land on, I think. But it worked out, I think, perfectly from a pace perspective for him. I will say, Midnight Bourbon, I wasn't giving him much credit coming into this race. I thought he ran an enormous race. I thought he was up there the whole time, and he was able to kick. If Rombauer's not in this race, Midnight Bourbon looks like a hero.
He wins by 4 lengths.
Yeah.
He like wins running away. I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think Irad Ortiz is the most surprised person of anybody that anybody was there other than maybe Concert Tour.
Right.
That's it.
Like, who is this horse? Fasten me?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'd like to watch the replay. Did he even look back to see if anybody was there?
Right. He probably thought he was in the clear at some point. Yeah,
Yeah.
once he had Medina Spirit put away.
Yeah.
Concert Tour, I haven't seen the official order of finish, but I didn't see him finish up. So Concert Tour is going to cut back to 7 furlong races or mile races, I would imagine, from here.
The distance bothered me with him, but he was never even really in the fold in this race.
No.
I mean, I thought he needed to be up at the front too, and never was.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah.
was never in this.
Medina Spirit, I think we'll see a little bit of a break from. We won't see him at the Belmont. We'll see him probably later on this summer.
Midnight Bourbon at Belmont?
Midnight Bourbon, I think, look, I think he's a bit distant. I can't imagine him getting the 1.5 miles, but if the race shapes up where, because that's, it's a 1.5 mile race,
Yeah.
it's longer than all these. If the race shapes up where there's no other pace, to the point Tom Law was making earlier, even though you would think logically, oh, these horses are tiring, the speed horses, they can't go longer. A speed horse like Midnight Bourbon, if he's the only speed in the Belmont Stakes, could potentially go a long way, but we'll see who ends up entering. Caddo River's still been on the bench for a while. We'll see if he comes in.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of horses from the Derby who you think logically should come back, essential quality. What are they going to do with him?
Yeah.
I would bring Bourbonic back if he's in good form. I mean, because of the way he ran at the
Mandaloon.
Wood Memorial. I would bring him back, and they didn't race here obviously today. Had a terrible gate, ended up in the 19 post at the Derby. That's one I'd be watching for here because of the success in the past too.
And I will say, those Soup and Sandwich is probably not a longer racing horse.
No,
he
is. He could be.
So up there the whole time in the Derby, like hanging in there.
I'll say this now. This will be a little bit of a hot take. If Soup and Sandwich enters the Belmont Stakes and Midnight Bourbon isn't there, and none of the logical speeds are there, and he's the main speed,
He could set the pace.
I like Soup and Sandwich to win the Belmont Stakes. He's got the pedigree.
Is he healthy?
He can run all day. If he's healthy. I don't know. But if he's healthy, and if he can come back, I mean, if you got
I'll ask Mark Cassie. I'll
Mark
slide in
Cassie.
his DMs.
If you've got that Tappet pedigree, you can go all day in the Belmont Stakes. All right. It's time for us to begin to wrap up. Before we do, I'll start with Bram and then Danielle, and just sort of parting thoughts here as we
Wish I had Rombauer, but outside of that, more than anything, after this year, to be here with all of you and everybody here and in this environment without a mask on. And I think, first did an unbelievable job based on the limitations of the event this year. I thought everything was handled really well, and I just was so happy to be out here again.
Bram wishes he had a mask. and that he had a visor on and
Yeah.
suntan lotion.
I am neurotic. I fully admit that. I am neurotic. Yes.
Yeah, well, for me, it was my first Triple Crown race. Really, really fun. Everyone kept telling me, like, oh, if there was a real crowd here, you wouldn't know. Oh, it's so much better. And I had nothing to compare it to. So this was an amazing experience for me. And I think Ron Bauer just, again, proves that you have no idea what you're doing when you're betting. And to just close your eyes and pick, you know, even though looking back with Medina Spirit, people thought, why didn't I bet it? None of us bet it.
Yeah,
So, you know, you never know what's going to happen with horse racing. So it was great. I'm glad that I was able to be here with y'all.
Well, let's say that's why they run the race, right? I mean, you got to run the race to figure it out. So, echoing similar sentiments, pleasure to be here with both of you. Honestly, I think this went extremely well. The viewership reflected it. We had a lot of people join us early, stay with us late. Big thank you to First Racing for setting this all up, and also at the outset bringing in the doctor to talk about Medina Spirit in the spirit of transparency and you know, really getting out in front of you know, what was obviously something that needed to be discussed today. So, look, I thought it was a great race. I wish I would have had the horse as well, like the two of you, Ron Bauer. But we've got another shot in a couple of weeks at Belmont, so hopefully we'll cash there. So, anyway, for Bram and for Danielle, I'm Dan Tordjman with America's Best Racing. We'll see you next time.